That light is.
I think it's time to go.
From the hills and mountains of southern Indiana to the Lone Star State, Texas, we are the hunters of the paranormal. Truth seekers, mount up.
Good evening, everybody. We're back again with another awesome guest. This guy is a native of Louisiana. His name is Scott Pace, and he's got some pretty amazing cryptid stories and encounters that he's going to talk to us about tonight. And it's an honor, and it's just great to have him here. He's an awesome dude. And without further ado, let's get this party started, guys. How you doing? How you doing, Scott?
Hey, having a great day. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a great day.
No problem, man. Wasn't it a beautiful day today? Would you have good weather down there today?
Oh, it's beautiful here. It was really nice. My wife was outside planting plants, and I was outside working on my truck and getting the barbecue stuff set up, getting ready for barbecue season.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Isn't that good? Barbecue is good, isn't it?
Oh, yes, indeed. You better believe it. Getting the liquor ready, getting the barbecue ready.
Are you close to the swamps, Scott?
Oh, yeah. We got swamps real close to us, just right down the road from us. We got plenty of swamps, alligators, snakes. We have the whole, everything. Everything you want in the swamp is here.
So it's all danger. Danger.
Well,
danger in the swamp.
There are very few people who go out and stay during the summertime and stuff in the swamp. Very few people. Some people do, but not a lot.
Do you have do you have a lot of like snakes that get in your yard and stuff like that, like rattlesnakes and moccasin and
more moccasins, copperhead, stuff like that, but not so much a lot. You know, every now and then we have a bayou. I guess y'all call it a creek up there where y'all from. Called a little bayou. And one time we had an alligator come up getting somebody's covered up under their driveway, and all the kids were out there, and then the fire department came over and washed it out with the big water hose. So it was hilarious. We was all dying laughing, you know. Then all of a sudden we started thinking about, okay, well, where's the mom at?
Right.
So we're like, everybody's like, oh, y'all better watch out down there, you know. And it's just right down the road here, you know. It's just not far at all, so it's funny. Then we're like, it was all funny at first, and then we're like, oh, where's the mom at? You know, so like, oh Lord, here we go.
Do you have a lot of humidity down there in the summertime? I'm sure it's crazy hot down there.
Yeah. Yes, daytime, nighttime, everything that we have. Yeah, it's very humid down there. As far as a crow flies, I mean, we actually live in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, but closer to Baton Rouge than New Orleans.
That's awesome.
So that's where we're at. So we're right close to Baton Rouge, about 20 minutes away.
David said something about you were making gumbo or going to have a gumbo.
Yeah, we cook gumbo. Tomorrow we're going to do crawfish, so we do that. Well, my hometown is the jambalaya capital of the world, so we make a lot of jambalaya here. So that's big pots too. A lot of big pots of jambalaya. So we do it's usually a big get together, you know, a big party or something. We make a jambalaya. Family and friends get together, you know, and that's something we do down here too.
Best thing we do up here like that is hog roast.
Oh yeah, a good pig roast. We usually do those in the wintertime over here, you know, in February or something like that. You know, January when it's nice and cold. Everybody gets together, and we'll do that during hunting season to shoot some wild hogs and stuff like that. We'll roast them.
Are they pretty bad down there, the wild hogs?
Northern part of the state, not so much the southern part of the state, but yeah, northern part of the state. They've gotten where they have what we call parishes here. Different parishes get together, and they'll pin them up and catch them and stuff, and you know, work them like that, and then. You know, hunters, if they see them out in the woods, we'll take them because it's good to mix with your deer meat when you hunt and stuff. So goes real good with venison.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but I bet that is good.
Oh yeah, you mix that together with venison, it goes very well.
Summer sausage, right?
Oh yeah, Yeah, we like smoked sausage, any kind of sausage, you know. I mean, pork loins, we like that. Like to make our own bacon and stuff. And then pork roast, you know, we stuff all of our pork roast. So we do that and put them on a smoker. And then, man, you talk about incredible. Good Lord, that's good eating right there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I made some summer sausage with some deer that I got, and it was better than the stuff I'd bought at the processing plant years before. It was fun to make. I like making it.
Oh yeah.
Well, Scott, you want to tell us about these cryptid critters down there where you're at, and what's going on with all that?
Most
down
definitely.
there?
I'll go into. I sent you some pictures. We can talk about that. And the picture, it's right there. And we'll talk about a lot of these things happen at my hunting lease, and it's in north central Louisiana, and it's in between Alexandria and Winfield is where our hunting lease is, and that's where we go. Actually, our family came from that part, and that's where our family's from is actually Alexandria and north of Alexandria. And then we came down here in South Louisiana. My dad went to work, and then my family just stayed down here. But in the hunting season of 2019 in October, I was sitting in my deer stand. And my stand actually that we have up there is a big box stand. And so I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I get this about 6 o'clock in the evening. I was waiting for the deer to start moving. I had my cell phone, and I was kind of messing with it a little bit. I looked down at my cell phone, and I looked to my right, the shooting lane, looked to my left, and I looked straight ahead. Well, I got this high-pitched noise in my ear, and it almost makes it where you feel like there's so high that your head goes sideways. And when I heard that, I looked down, and my gun was actually in the corner of the deer stand. It started vibrating, so I grabbed it and I looked. And when I did, I looked over and I seen something that wasn't there before, and it looked like a black stump. And so what I did was I just took my cell phone, I turned, and I took the picture. And I looked at the picture because I said we don't burn this lease, and the land's not ours. We just lease the land, you know. When I looked at it, it looked like a black stump. I said, good God, what is that? And I said, we don't burn that. And the first thing came to my head, we don't burn our land over here. You know, we don't burn anything here. And I started looking and said, it kind of looks like somebody. And I took my binoculars and I started looking. And I said, oh my God, it looks like some guy right there. And when I looked at it, I could see it looked like he had dreadlocks on. You know, I'm thinking to myself, now somebody escaped from a prison or something around here. Now, they do have a federal prison not far from that area, but it'd be close to about 15 miles from there, you know. And then I finally took my rifle and I put it up. And when I did, that's when I seen it. And so when I looked at it, it was a Bigfoot. And it had black hair all around it. It looked like a human, though. His face was very human, and the skin was black. I mean, coal black, and it was very, very oily. But what got me was the eyes. And when I looked at the eyes, they were orange and yellow, and they were a starburst. So the white part of the eye was white, and then you could see the round part, like my eyes are green. You could see its eyes were yellow and orange. And I was like, good Lord. So I hunt with a 30-06. Okay, it's a Remington. They call them a Jam-O-Matic. You may have heard of it, but mine doesn't jam, so I keep it clean, and I keep it, you know, in shape and everything. And so I have a Redfield scope on top of it, which is a really good scope. And when I looked at that thing, I could see this thing perfect. But what got me, what was next to that? And that's when I seen this other thing. And when I looked at it, it had a dog head. I mean, just had a huge head, real long, about 2 foot long, looked like to me. And this thing, I'm short, okay? I'm about 5'6", but this thing, when I was looking over at the Bigfoot, it was at least 6 foot tall, and it was squatted down behind some bushes that were camouflaged in front of it like this. This other thing walked, it just stuck his face straight out. And it was a dog man. But what it had was that the ears were sticking up like this, and it was looking down. And when it came under some other bushes, it looked at me like this, and its whole head was sticking out. All of this was gray, and this part was black on it. Now when it looked at the deer stand, I mean, it seen me. I had my gun and I had my rifle looking at it, but it didn't know I didn't have my finger on the trigger. And it mind spoke to me, and it told me, it said, "Put the gun down. I'm going to come over there and tear that building down and kill you."
Oh, wow.
Now, a lot of people don't talk about mind speaking, all that. This thing mind spoke to me right away. And it really freaked me out. At first, I didn't know what to do. But this is the weird part of the whole thing, okay? Those two started communicating with each other, and I could hear it, and I could understand it. The dog man was telling, all of a sudden the Bigfoot turns around to the dog man and says, "Hey, leave him alone. Don't fool with him." You know, and I was trying to talk to him. I said, "Look, my finger's on the trigger. I'm just looking at y'all." But the weird thing, I wasn't scared. But when I it's almost like the Bigfoot was admitting something to me, and it was kind of strange. It was kind of weird, but it was admitting something like almost like, don't be scared. It's okay. But the dog man now, when it was trying to admit something to me, it was like almost trying to control my feelings and my emotions. And that thing there was terrifying. Now it made me almost shake when I looked at it. And I was looking at it, and all of a sudden in another octave and another, like almost at another voice, this thing told me, said, leave now. So I grabbed my bag and I got up out of there. The way the deer stand is set up, it's like a cross. Okay. Yeah, they have a shooting lane in front of me. There's one to the right and there's one to the left. So I have to go out the back of the stand and I have to go around. Then I have to go back to like a lay down yard where they used to lay down all the logs and everything. And that's where my golf cart was. I have a golf cart that's all jacked up and everything. So I went to that, and my cousin was hunting with me at the time. And so I heard him crank up, and by that time it's starting to get dark and he come around. But the strange thing is when I'm walking out, now I'm getting it. I'm moving pretty quick. I grab my gun, I grab my backpack that I had, and I'm going down this little logging trail that they got. And these things are paralleling me. They're walking with me. And it's at least 4 of them, and I can hear it. They never mind spoke to me again or anything. When I got to my golf cart, I sat on my golf cart, and it just so happened to have my golf cart facing the woods. And when I'm looking at the woods, I knew that they were there, and I could hear them walking up, and they were heavy. Real heavy. It was just like cows walking through the woods. And then when they came to the edge of the woods, they stopped. And I said, look, I looked at them. I'm talking like I'm talking to you. And I said, look, I said, if y'all come out those woods, I said, I'm going to start blasting. I said, y'all may kill me. I said, I don't care. But I said, right now, I said, I got a 30-06 and I'm going to start blowing holes in each one of y'all. And I said, I promise you, I'm going to get at least 2 of y'all. They never did mess with me though. So we cranked up and we got out of there.
Wow. That mind speak that you're talking about, I had that happen to me while I was deer hunting. I had something come in within 30 yards of me, and it was pitch dark. I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face, and I was hunting where there were 4 ridge tops that came together, and there was a bowl down in the bottom. And these eyes lit up in the dark, and I swear they were it looked like the size of a baseball, and they had black slits in them. And this thing. Wow. This thing spoke to me, and it said, I just wanted you to know that I was here. And then the eyes went out, and it turned, and it walked to my left, and I heard it go out in the field, and then it was gone.
Wow, that sounds like a dog man.
Yeah, that's how big were the eyes on the dog man that you saw?
Well, it was daylight, so they weren't shining, but the whole head was about 2 foot long, so it was pretty big.
Oh, Lord.
I'd say that dog man was probably at least, if you got the picture, you can go ahead and show it. That's the one you see the Bigfoot and the dog man together. It's in that picture, if you want to show that. But that's the picture I got of him. But yeah, he was at least 7 foot tall. I'd say he was at least 7. He was a good 7 foot. But the body structure on that thing was like a basketball player. He was really built. He wasn't huge muscles. It was just lean, just really built muscles. Yeah. Now, I couldn't see below the waist, and I couldn't see the hands, but I could see the shoulders and everything. And it was built. It was very, very built. But, the thing that I was going to tell you about the eyes on the Bigfoot, when I brought the gun back to him, was looking through the scope, his eyes turned from orange and yellow to red.
Ooh, he got mad.
Oh, yeah. So I hope he wasn't mad at me, because I think he was more mad at the dog man he was at me, because the dog man was ready to come over and pounce on me, But I had that 30-06.
Let me ask you this: when you hear the mind speak, what do they sound like? Is it your voice, like your conscience, what they're saying, or do they sound like monsters basically? What does it sound like?
No, it's in English. It's an audible voice. Mm-hmm. And it's just like another person talking, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not anything scary or anything. The other voice that told me to leave now, the voice, and that's when I picked up all my stuff and got out. That voice was more authoritative, more
demanding.
Demanding, but yet authoritative. It had more of an authority to it.
So that one was definitely the dog man then, probably.
I'd say it's a different one, because the 2 voices that I heard was a Bigfoot and a dog man kind of talking, and it was another type of voice. It was more of a deeper voice, like leave now, like that. And I was like, whoa. okay, that caught my
Wow.
attention. So I got up. But what was funny was the week before, and then this is the story that was what happened to the week before, and that was gun season when I was there then. Okay, so the week before was muzzleloading season, and this is really weird. All this happened in 2019. So I went to the same stand, and we had it baited up pretty good and everything. And so went over there and sat in the stand, and sure enough, it was getting close to dark. And I had my muzzle over there, and sure enough, I seen a deer walk. It was a doe. So I said, well, I'm gonna get my meat early this year. So anyways, I put my gun out the window and lined everything up. Boom, made the shot. Well, I seen the deer hit the ground, made a couple of turns on the ground, started kicking, and then it just went lifeless, you know. So I knew I'd shot the deer. All right. And I seen blood on the ground too. So I took my gun, reloaded it, put 2 pellets in, flushed my bullet down, and then I cocked the barrel, put a blasting cap in, put it together, and I started walking toward my deer. I said, well, I've got the deer now. So I walked toward it. And this is where it gets crazy. The deer uprights and runs off.
Oh, you're freaking kidding me, man. That is bizarre. Yeah. Wow.
I've talked to other people before, and some pretty big name people on some other places and stuff, and they've told me that they've lost deer too. Now I've seen this, and this deer was lifeless, okay, and it's like somebody picked up a purse or a bag and took off with it. Now here's the weird thing: all I seen was a flash.
Okay, so you couldn't see it; you saw the actual deer get picked up by something that wasn't there and took off.
Flash! It was like a flash.
Wow!
Like a flash.
That's ooh.
And it was all in one. Like that. It was it shocked me because I'm standing there. I'm going, what just happened?
Did you think in your mind when it happened to you? Were you thinking, did this just really happen? Did I just see this?
Exactly.
That's what happened to me.
I was like, what? Wait a minute. Where's my deer? First of all, I said, what just happened? So dumb me. I start going in the woods looking for my deer. And I go in the woods. And I'm like looking all around. I said, take on the blood's all there. I'm like, my God, there's no way this doe could have survived this. It's a 50 caliber bullet. It's a hollow point. And I'm looking, there's blood all over the ground. You know, there's stuff all over the ground. I'm like, wait a minute, this don't make sense. So I start going to the woods. No blood, no nothing. So I called my cousin. He said, well, I'm going to bring a dog over. We're going to find it. So he said, would you walk in the woods? I said, well, yeah, I walked in the woods. I knew it was going to be right there. So it wouldn't be far. I shot it with a 50 caliber, man. Come on. And he says, a muzzle loader. You know that? And so he's like, well, you shouldn't have walked in the woods. You're going to lose a deer like that. I said, no. I said, this deer was dead. And so anyways, he said, well, you just lost it. He blocked the dog rolling around and everything. Never did find the deer or anything. But let me tell y'all something. If you see the pictures that I sent you and how thick this woods is, there's briars all up in there. There's brush all in there. I don't know how in the world this thing ran through all of that. Crazy, you know?
There we go.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's
I think we just lost him, you guys.
Did we?
Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. He should be right back in. I wonder if it was because of the screen share, because when we screen shared a while ago, here he comes.
Yeah, there he is.
I'm back. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
That was the dog man knocked us off the air.
Some don't want to show no pictures. I can tell you that. That's funny. Yeah, don't want to show us no pictures. But yeah, so a couple seasons earlier to that, we were out cutting, and so way our lease is set up. It's set up in the Kisatchie National Forest, and so we have a perfect block that's out there, and we're in the middle of Kisatchie National Forest, and it's private land. And so we had found a place in Kisatchie that had a nice ridge and looked down over a creek, and actually had 2 ridges that ran together like an L. And so what we decided to do was to take the tractor and bush hog through there into all those briars and everything, and cut some of that brush up, and then we would set up another stand there. So while we were cutting through that spot right there, I began to smell something.
And I told my cousins, man, it smells like something dead over here. It kind of smells like, I don't know, like urine or something too, and it stinks over here, you know. He said, oh, that's probably somebody's dog died over there. And he said, we got to go find it and bury it. I said, okay. Well, this all happened around Labor Day weekend, okay? And we was there Saturday working all day. Well, on Sunday, they don't work. Everybody goes to church and everything. We just kind of take the day off. So Monday rolled back around. We was off. So we went back out there to set up a stand. And when we did, all the smell was gone. And so I went ahead and rode on my golf cart, started riding around and look at everything, you know. And then I looked down and I found this footprint, this real big footprint. I stepped on the side of it, trying to see if my foot would push inside the pine straw like this. But this thing was heavy, whatever it was. It was long. It was long and skinny, probably at least 12 inches long, at least maybe 14 inches long. But I got a picture of that one too that's there. But anyways, that Monday, that smell was gone. So I think that they may have put off some kind of scent or something, you know, like a skunk did or something.
Now, when you smelled that smell, did it make you feel uneasy? Because I smell like that, and when I smelled it, it was so strong, and I had this sense of like I needed to get out of there, like I didn't need to go any further, and I left. I left the woods.
Well, we were there cleaning off the land. There was 3 or 4 of us over there, you know, so I wasn't really scared. And I had my pistol on my side too, and maybe it seen my pistol and started, you know, putting off some kind of scent, squirting something at us or something, you know, say, hey, back off, get away or something, you know. But it wasn't far. When I say it wasn't far, it was probably 10, 15 yards inside the brush right there, you know.
Oh, wow. That's kind of scary. It's almost like they're warning you with sound. I've got a picture of your footprint here. It looks like it's in pine straw. Yeah. So let me pull it up here, and I'm going to try to share it again. I hope I don't knock you off the
That's okay. I'll come
air
back.
again here. Well, let's try this here. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Right there.
That's a good print. I like that print right there.
I do too.
I put my foot down on the side of that thing, and I tried to stomp in the ground right there. And look, y'all, my foot did nothing to that. I mean, it did nothing to that pine straw. It really didn't. Didn't do anything at all. I was like, my God, man, what in the world could make this footprint like this, you know? But that was right on the side of a logging trail. So they had thick woods, a logging trail, then they had that footprint, then they had another clear cut on the other side of that. So it was like a little a dry creek bed, and the dry creek bed was probably 3 or 4 feet wide, and then it went to another clear cut.
I noticed something here on this print at the very top of it. It looks like there's some holes in the top of it, almost like there was some claws going down.
I don't know. I'm either thinking it's a female or either it's a dog man, because normally a male print would be wider and bigger, and then a female would be long and skinny, or it could be a dog man. Could be a dog man. I don't know.
Yeah, I see the holes you're talking about, and as it would be walking, it would definitely, you would think it would leave an impression just like that.
Yeah.
So wow. I'm thinking that's a pretty big dog man right there.
That's awesome, man. Wow. And is this all on your deer hunting lease property?
Oh yeah, all that's on the deer hunting lease. If you've seen like there was a black figure there with the green leaves in front of it, pull that one up and we'll look at it if you don't mind.
Yeah, let me see if I can get that up here real quick.
It's one of the first pictures that I sent you.
Okay, I think.
And I'll explain to y'all about the picture, and then I circled them after that.
And did you say it's? Let's see.
It's one of the first ones I sent you.
All right, let me see.
You'll be able to see it. Yeah, I love that you got the pictures, because a lot of times the pictures don't come up. You can only talk about. Oh, so I got to tell y'all another funny story. What happened to us on Thanksgiving? So Thanksgiving, and one of my best friends. Yeah, so that's looking out the stand right there. One of my shooting lanes right there. So that goes to show you how thick it is there. See how thick it is? I mean, very thick.
That is dense.
That's about is that about a 30-yard shot or 40?
Oh, it's longer than that. That's probably about
is it longer than that?
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking about 65. Yeah.
You got to
Something
be
like that,
really
about
on your
60.
toes. You got to be really on your toes to cross through there, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm ready though. I know about what time I can hear them coming through to them move a little bit and just pick up real quick and go ahead and shoot them. You know. So it's not that. But yeah. So a good friend of mine, he wanted to go up there with me and tell him all the stories and everything. He said, I got a couple of weeks off from work, and he said, I want to come with you. I got to use some vacation time and everything. So I said, well, come on. I said, let's go. So we went up there, and first night was quiet and everything, wasn't nothing going on. So I started mind speaking to him. And I said, look, if y'all are here, I said, my friend's kind of a skeptic. He's a non-believer. And I said, not really a non-believer, but he just don't, he don't really think y'all are real. And I said, would y'all give us a sign? So we're walking from that box stand, and they had clear cut everything. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. They clear cut all the land up there, okay? And when it's got some bushes and stuff up there now, but no big trees and everything yet. So we parked down a little hill and everything, and we're walking down this hill, and all of a sudden we hear this scream. It starts out real low, and he goes yak at the end of it like that. And he stopped. He looked at me, and I looked at him. I said, "You believe now?"
Oh, wow.
And
Hey,
my cousin was about 300 yards away on another ridge, and he had cranked up and was coming our way. And I asked my cousin, I said, "You hear that?" He said, "Hear what?" I ain't hear nothing. He said, "I was coming around driving the side by side. I didn't hear that." I said, "Okay." I looked at him. He looked at me. He said, "It's time to get out of here." I said, "Let's go." So
as Vic would say, now that was a Charmin moment.
oh yeah, it was funny. His face, he was like, and I was dying laughing at him. I said, "Oh my God, man!" But that last picture you just showed. So my daddy gave us some land up there, and it's right in there. It's not far from our lease. It's probably about a quarter mile. So we actually ride a side by side through the national forest and all that. We ride the golf carts and stuff over there. But anyways, I was taking my cell phone. I was actually taking a video of the land. And what I did, I had it all cleared off and everything, made a nice pad. And so we put electricity and water and stuff down. And so I was doing that. And when I did, something ran across in front of my phone. I'm like, what in the world was that? And I looked at my phone. I tried to turn it. I was facing forward. And I also looked at my phone, started shaking like this. I said, what in the world is going on my screen? Now, what's funny, y'all, is my phone, if I face it the other way, it won't work. It'll shake. And if I face it this way, looking at me, it works fine.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
So, if you go back to that picture, you're gonna see that one ran right in front of me and zapped my phone.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I think I know. Is it the one it's kind of blurry looking?
Yes, that's it.
Let me see. Yeah, let me see if I can find that. I saw that and I thought it looked like it was something cloaked.
It is. And so, when I seen it, I was like, good God, what in the world is? I sent it to quite a few people, it's in the Bigfoot community and stuff like that. And they looked at it and they said, oh yeah. So you got one here. I said, what you mean I got one? You got one. It's there. I said, man, I can't see it that way. They said, oh yeah, it's there. I said, well,
it takes a while. It takes a while. You'll start seeing them better, Scott.
Okay, y'all see how the woods are clear on one side and then you got a big fuzzy wavy thing in the middle?
Yes, sir. I sure see it.
Yep.
It almost looks like an eye right here and a brow ridge and a cheekbone right there. Like almost like the head is like right up in here. It's almost like you can see one of the eyes.
It sure does.
And it almost looks like it has a muzzle on it, like the nose comes down here. But it could be the trees in the background too. But
It's got muted.
Let me see here. Yeah, he's muted. Hey Scott, you're muted, buddy. Yeah, I can't hear him, David. Shoot him a text, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna. Doggone it. It's the screen share thing. I think it messes it up. Hey, David. Hey, David. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties as usual, but we're going to try to get back as quick as we can. Can you hear me, Scott? Still no audio, buddy. Something's. Oh man. Are you there, Phantom?
Yes, sir. He said he's on his way back.
Okay, yeah, he's I got him in here, but no audio. Shoot. I wonder what's kicking his audio off, David.
I told him he was muted, and I just don't have his phone number. I called him on Messenger.
You got Renee Wilson in the chat room, David. She said, "I hear you, David." Howdy, Renee.
Hello, Renee. How are you doing? You caught us with some technical difficulties. I apologize.
Hey, David, I wonder if it's the that when I show those pictures.
I'm not sure. Yeah, the couple times we tried to screenshot, I noticed the audio start to mess up.
Mm-hmm. Hey, David, did you give him a call?
Yes, I did on Messenger.
Oh, okay.
Let me try one more time. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's all right, David. It happened.
Right when we were getting going, we'll have to catch up. I'll be right back, everyone.
Thanks, Renee.
Yes, Renee's a sweetheart. She will understand. Shout out Renee, Kentucky in the house. Okay. Oh, he just left and came back. Maybe he'll be good now.
Man, his audio was really good there for a while. And that his iPhone is awesome, man. That he's got good, clear pictures or video. We need the elevator music playing. You know it, David? Da 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 da. Sorry, guys. I know. Don't quit my day job. Oh, I see a flicker of hope. I see a flicker of hope. There he is. Awesome.
Well, I tell you what, I've done a few shows, but this was the craziest one.
I'm so sorry, my friend.
This ain't nothing to do with you. I'm telling you, they control a lot of electronics, bro.
They're mad at us.
Well, y'all would not believe the supernatural crap that's gonna happen at this house, man. It is nuts.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all the stuff, y'all would say, ain't no way. I said, oh yeah. I've got ready to go to work before and go look for my keys, and they're sitting on the table, and I put all my stuff together, get my lunch together, put my wallet and stuff there, put my keys together and stuff, have everything ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get ready to go leave, and my keys ain't there.
Oh man!
I look at my wife and said, babe, where's my keys at? I didn't touch your keys. I'm sitting over here. Well, who moved my keys? I'm like, I gotta go to work. I look over the cabinet. They've done moved from the table to the countertop. I'm like,
oh my.
Now my wife had surgery about December. She had surgery. Okay, so we have a little 2-story house, and so I've been upstairs and everything. And so I come in from work. I work evenings, and so I come in from work one evening. She says, something moved the lights. I said, what you mean something moved the lights? She says, something moved the strip lights on top of the ceiling over there. I looked up. I said, what in the heck? I look over there. 3 of the lights have turned toward my wife. So I said, start taking pictures in there. So she starts taking pictures and everything. Next you know, 3 orbs show up.
Wow.
So we look in the corner over there, and all of a sudden she takes another picture. I said, don't take by the lights now. Take in the corner. And I said, take a picture over there. So she took a picture over there. Guess what she catches? A face in the corner.
A Bigfoot or a dog man or a ghost?
Not a dog man. No ghost. No, it's a Bigfoot. If people say they follow you home, oh yeah. I don't know how they do this, y'all, but I'm telling you something changed in me whenever this thing looked into my eyes. Something changed, and it followed me home. And I was going to tell you about another thing that happened to me too. Was during that time in 2019 and stuff, they didn't clear our land off of the property and everything. But they've been telling us for the past 5-6 years that, look, we can start cutting trees over there. Okay, there's too many big trees and everything. We got to clear the land. We need to harvest the trees. They're big enough now. We can harvest them. Okay, so we knew it was going to happen. So it's 2019. We had my experience, and then all of a sudden the next year, 2020 comes around. Well, they go in there and they start cutting trees, but they cleared everything off. When I say they cleared this place, they mopped it clean. Wasn't a tree left in this son of a gun. So at 40 acres, they just wiped it all out. So anyways, I was sitting there right after this happened. I was sitting in my chair, my recliner and everything. Got up on Saturday morning after work. Put in a rough week, man. It was just busy at work. So I'm sitting there enjoying my morning coffee and stuff like that. All of a sudden, the same thing. It's high-pitched noise in my ear. It comes over, and all of a sudden, this thing comes to me and said, "Why did you destroy my land? Why did you destroy my home?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said they cut all the trees down. He said they cut everything down. They destroyed our home. I said, "Look, first of all, that's not our land." I started talking to you like I'm talking to y'all. I said, I didn't do anything. I had nothing to do with that. I said, it's not my land. That's why you only see me there 5-6 times a year. And I said, all I'll do is hunt. And I'll let you know when I come over there. I'll walk into the land. I say, hey, I'm here. I'm only to harvest deer. As soon as I get my deer, or you chase me a deer over and I shoot a deer, I'm out of here. I'm not going to bother you. So I'll go over there and shoot my deer and I'll leave. Well, guess what? It's like this thing had a spirit of depression or something. And I just felt a sad saying, really sad spirit over me, and it turned, and it's like it turned and walked away.
Wow.
So to say they follow you home, yes. There's another picture. Y'all, it gets even crazier. So my wife, remember when it got real cold over in Texas and everything froze up? Was that year before last or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It came over here too, but it wasn't as bad. Okay, so that Gulf wind was kind of pushing up a little bit, but it was cold. When I say it was cold outside, it was below freezing, and for a few days. So my wife runs outside and brings the garbage outside and everything, and she said, in the garbage can. So she comes back. She said, Scott, go outside and look. She says, I swear to God, I see a footprint. I said, a footprint? I said, outside the house? I said, who in God's name is going to be out there barefooted in a daggum 30-degree weather? And she said, I don't know. Just go look at it. It looks like a footprint. I said, okay. So I get out there and I put my coat on and run out there real quick. I said, I'll be darned. I look down the ground, and sure enough, right there in the mud is a footprint. And I'm like going, what in the heck? I took a picture of it, and it's wide, y'all. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm thinking, now, who in the world is going to come out in this kind of weather and step out here with no shoes on, But let me tell you something. I don't know how they do this, but they'll follow you home. They'll get inside your house and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Right after this happened and all that, I was sleeping, and it's like something pushed on me in the middle of the night, woke me up. I'm like, what in the world? And I'm looking around, my wife's downstairs watching TV, I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to go to bed, so I got to go to work the next day. I'm like, good Lord, what's going on? It's like something, in this past winter, it's even crazy. This past winter, I had a beard. I grew a real heavy beard and everything. I had something do like this during the night with the back of their hand.
Ooh.
Now, it wasn't my wife, because my wife was downstairs. She had surgery, so she couldn't come upstairs. Okay, so she's been having to sleep downstairs. So I knew it wasn't her. It wasn't our pet. So I'm telling myself, that was weird. I wake up like, okay, what just happened?
Do you want me to share that footprint, that picture?
Sure.
That is it, the one where in the mud, where the footprint in the mud?
Yes. That's
okay.
it, right by the concrete. Y'all,
now,
this is funny, y'all. I'm like, who's gonna be here in the freezing cold weather?
Scott, was it just one print?
Yes, sir. One print again.
See, that's unbelievable. That's all the prints. All the prints I've came across, and Lee as well. Just one. It's always just one, and there will be nothing else around. It is so bizarre.
Okay, so I did some research on that, guys, and so since 2019, I've hit this hard, really hard. Okay, and I've talked to everybody I can. When I first came home, y'all, I was in shock. I thought I was going to have to go. I was going to have to go talk to somebody mentally, because it really messed with me bad, and it questioned everything that I believed in. It questioned everything that I ever learned about the Bible and everything else. Okay, so it questioned everything about God. Question everything I had, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's God and all this? These creatures ain't supposed to be alive. This ain't supposed to be here. And I said, this is not even the Bible. I go to church and everything. And I said, what does this have to do with God and everything else, you know? But lo and behold, you know, I got a scripture up there that I found in the Bible too. It explains all that God created everything, you know? So, I mean, as a Christian, where I stand as a Christian is there's a lot of stuff out there we can't explain, you know? And it's just now coming to light. We're just now getting to see what it is, you know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you want to pull those pictures out, I'll be glad to talk about that and everything and talk about all those pictures. And so I've got so many stories, y'all. It's funny. But now it don't bother me because they don't try to hurt me or anything. I've never had them try to hurt me.
Hey, if this knocks your audio out and knocks you off there again, I apologize in advance. But
we just come back again.
Yeah, we're going to try it. We're stubborn, aren't we?
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, I think it's
not gonna stop us.
Here we go.
Let's keep on going, y'all, because I mean,
yes, sir.
This is hilarious. I think it's
Scott,
funny.
you're awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's funny. But we'll hang in there. There you go. So this is right outside my house, y'all. And if you look at it, it's a wide print.
That's a big boy right there.
So getting back to the one print, I did some research on this, and what I found out was that they move in and out of dimensions. And so some people believe this way. Okay, some people believe they're just apes, that they through genealogy, you know, they part of a man, they can do all these. There may be some DNA from a man in there. Okay. But my thing is how they come in and out of dimensions, okay? How they do that. Well, what happens is they come from the physical to the spiritual, and they can come in and out of dimension. Once they do it, it's kind of like, guys, say all three of us are walking in the woods, right? And I step off the trail accidentally, and I slip. You know, maybe it's a little lean. The trail's kind of leaning to my way a little bit. And all three of us are walking. And I step off the trail, and I come back onto the trail. Well, that's what happens there.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that's the theory behind that, and I had to do a lot of research to come up with all this stuff. So that's like, where's other? I believe me, I've had my cousins ask me, where's other print at? I'm like, I don't know where the other print is. I mean, I can't explain that, you know. So after doing my research, I found out about what the other print was, you know. So, yeah,
we had a question in the chat room, and he says, "Has Scott seen any dogmen and squatches in that same area?"
Oh yeah. So if you pull up the multiple, so like I said, my land is right next. It's in the Casaccia National Forest, okay, and so our land is right next to the forest. You just cross over a little road, one lane road there, and you're in the national forest. But they're on my land. So if you pull up the picture with all the circles in it and everything, you'll see that, and it shows all that in there.
Okay, let me see if I can pull that up for us here.
And so every time I'd go up there, you know, work on the land, I do something different all the time. I'd go up there and work on it. And I would always take a video. I'd always take pictures, you know. And
that's an excellent theory on the one footprint, Scott. I like that. I totally agree.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So
you're very welcome.
Is this the one, Scott?
Yeah, that's it.
There's a lot of bush peepers in that one.
Now, just to clear this up, Scott, did you add the eye, the highlights to where the eyes would be in the? Wow, that one is a classic. That one looks classic.
We lost him again, but he'll be back. He did. Yes, Lee. He did verify to me.
Okay.
He added the eyes to give a perspective.
Look at this one right here in particular. This one right here. It almost looks.
There's one in green. There's one in green that looks cloaked, and you can make out face, teeth, and everything.
Right over here.
Yeah, go back to the top where you were talking about. Where you were fixing to tell me something about it. There you go. That one right there.
Like the if that's the nose and this is the mouth and the eyes, it's almost like classic.
I can see it. I can see it from way back here on my phone. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Wow. Like this one down here, you can really see, like you can almost see the part in the hair right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of similarities. Tracy, you're right. And his pictures as well, and Paul's. Thank you, Tracy.
Wow. All right, guys, I'm going to click out of this and see if we can get him back. Oh, there he is. Yes, sir.
We got you back, Scott. We were talking about your picture there, the ones all of them in the bushes.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You can hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear y'all.
Uh-oh. Let me see.
I'm not muted.
You're not. I'm going to add him back.
I'm
Can
in
you
the
hear?
show, but I can't hear y'all.
What about now?
Oh my gosh. we're, Squatch is messing with our electronics again.
Hey, Renee
Come on,
Wilson.
dog man. Come on, dog man. Stop zapping us.
Can you hear us? We can hear you clear as a bell,
All right, I
Scott.
still can't hear y'all.
Oh my. Let's see. Okay, let me.
Catwoman. I didn't see that one, Tracy. Yeah, we'll have to get some elevator music for you guys.
Yeah.
Hey Renee, I'll when Scott comes back, I'll let him know you're in the chat and that you said hello.
Thank you guys for showing up.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Sorry for all the technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's been a battle, but we're gonna get through this, and it's not gonna stop us.
Hey Scott, can you hear us?
Check. Uh-oh.
Can you hear him, David?
No.
Now we can't hear him at all. I heard you, Scott. Okay.
I heard something like a chair move or something.
Yeah.
They just don't want the, we've had a couple guests spitting the truth lately, and I'm thinking that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. It's not going to stop us. We'll all make a show.
There you go. Oh, I see checkity check on the microphone. I'm adding Tracy's comment up here. Checkity check on the microphone. Uh-oh. Here we go. Is he coming? I see a flicker of hope.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
This is funny, y'all.
All right.
All right, we're back again. This is crazy. I ain't never had this happen before. This is funny.
I wonder if it's your phone, like if it's because they zapped your phone.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't.
Can I add something to your story about the orb and you seeing the Bigfoot face in the picture? We had a gentleman on last night. His name is Mike Patterson from Sasquatch, Ontario, and he has captured orbs in his video of and some Bigfoot stuff. It's associated. He sees them, and it's associated with the Bigfoot. I believe it, man. People see those lights dancing through the forest and follow lights in the forest, and these creatures have abilities that is just out of this world, man.
They can do all kind of stuff. The ones that are in the house, they're blue. They're little blue lights.
Blue. I've always heard blue is good.
Like I said, they haven't tried to hurt us or anything. So I mean, they've been good. They've been kind to us. I mean, they haven't caused anything like that. So I mean, it's three of them though. But what was funny was I said, I told my wife, I looked at the lights. I said, that's just lights reflecting off your camera. She goes, okay, I'm gonna show it to you. So she takes another picture, another angle. She goes, see, they're over there. I'm like, wait a minute. Wow. I said, how did that happen?
She's a believer now.
Oh, I'm a believer. I'm like, and the crazy thing is the thing of their mind speaking to you, but them coming to your house in the orb form, I have had something happen to me before after this all happened. And I was another time my wife was downstairs watching TV, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I felt something, like I heard something, like a humming noise or something like that. And I looked over by the closet, and there was a round circle, y'all, and it was kind of like it was just spinning there, and it went. It was like it was here, and it went just like that, and it closed up.
Huh. So it just kind of winked out.
Yeah, the best I can explain that is kind of like a shimmering thing type thing, and it was kind of spinning, and also just closed up. I think it was some kind of portal that maybe I've opened up. But right after this happened, y'all, me and my wife one Saturday we were making breakfast, and all of a sudden we had one. Now I'm telling you, this is crazy. This tops it all. This thing came in between us. She was in the by the sink, and she was cutting some stuff up, and I was cooking eggs and bacon and stuff like that on the stove. And so this thing came in between us like Star Trek and shimmered down.
Wow.
And when it came down and come in between us. Now Dana says my wife said that she had heard a humming noise when it happened. I didn't hear that, which I work in a loud plant anyway. So, but she heard it. She heard a humming noise, and all of a sudden this thing came in between us.
Did when you have that ringing in your ear, is it in your left ear by any chance?
That time yeah, both those times it was in my left ear. Now I've heard ringing in my right ear before too, and now when I hear the ringing now, I used to associate it with just that my ears were bad or something like that, but no, not now. Wherever it's at, I start paying attention to this every time. It's always by woods. Now this is funny. Just today we went and took a ride, and had to go about 35 minutes away. Okay, so we took a ride. And actually went and picked up my wife's grandmother and brought her back. And so we're going to have a little get together tomorrow. And I seen this tree, y'all. This oak tree had laid over in the road and somebody had cut it. And when we passed by that, guess what happened? The ringing in my ear.
Wow.
A ringing in my ear. And I told Dana, I said, "You feel something?" She said, "Yep." I said, "Okay. No. I don't take anything anymore for just granted, just whatever, No, if it happens, it's happening for a reason, and something is there.
Are you guys close to any Indian mounds by any chance?
No, not where we are. No.
No.
We're basically not real close. We're in a neighborhood, but our houses are not close together. So basically, all of our houses are set up on 3/4 or 1 acre lots. And, it's on a single lane road that has a bayou at the end of it, like a drain. I saw a drainage ditch. I call it drainage. It's just a ditch to me, but y'all would call it a creek. You could fish out of it if you want to, but I don't fish in that. So
A creek.
A creek?
No.
A creek? It's like a creek. we call it a bayou here. Y'all's creeks probably don't have no alligators in them and snakes.
We have some lakes here in Texas that have some alligators in them.
Up north?
They caught some pretty big boys out of there. Some 14-footers.
Up maybe Lake Worth or something like that.
Lake Worth, that was it. Yep.
Wow.
You nailed it.
How did I know that, y'all? I don't know.
I don't know, but you man, wow. Woo! That was it, though. Yes, sir.
I just listen, y'all. I just listen now. But yeah, man, we've had I'm telling you something. I've had so many experiences there on that hunt lease, and that one same little area, we were there. It was probably about me and Dana had been married almost 9 years now. So we first just got married. The first 2 years we got married. And so she used to go hunting with me and all that, but she's got to where she don't like the cold weather and stuff. She won't go do it no more. And so anyways, when we first got married, I walked to this one stand I was going to, and it's actually a leaning tube, and it's in the bottom. And I like to hunt that stand because certain times of year, the deer come right through. There's a creek that runs through there. And ironically, it's called Bear Creek. So anyways, I've only seen one bear recently too. I think the game wards put it out there or something. But anyways, I went to walk to my stand. Nobody else wanted to go hunt that morning. It's like 30 degrees. So I was like, I'm going. I don't care. I'm going to shoot me a deer. So sure enough, I get off the golf cart, come to a little lay down there, and I walk all the way. It's probably about a good 150 yards at least, So I'm walked all the trails, and I start going down this ravine. And when I go down this ravine, I feel this weird feeling. You're like, ooh, something just don't feel right. You know, so it's like, oh, what the heck? I said, nah, it's just my nerves. I'm just being scared, you know, whatever. So I got his headlight on. I'm walking. It's dark. When I say it's dark, there ain't no stars out. The moon's not out. Ain't no stars, nothing. It's just dark. So I get on this leaning tube and I climb up and it's freezing cold and I lean back. And as soon as I lean back, it goes, eek, eek, like it squeaks. And I sit there. And before I get my backpack off and everything, I got my gun. I just sat there and I heard something get up, like something stood. I'm like, what in the world? And it's to my left. And I turn around. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, should I shine a light or not? And all of a sudden I hear something walking away. Now, if it's a deer, the deer's going to boogie on out of there. You know, it's going to haul tail and get out of there. Deer's not going to walk away.
They don't waste no time getting out of.
No, they're going. A hog, same thing. They're going to get up and go get out of there. Anything like that. This thing, I'm telling y'all, this thing got up and walked away. Well, I had to walk right past that during the morning and I didn't see anything that day. So I was looking all around and I was praying to God. I said, good Lord, come on, let the sun come up. And sure enough, it came up and I looked all around. Didn't see no deer that morning. So about 9 o'clock, I said, look, I'm just going to go on in. So I got down off the deer stand. I went and walked and looked where this thing was. And I'm trying to remember what kind of tree it is. But it's it was like an alder or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't quite a sycamore because the sycamore has big bark on it, stuff like that. But this wasn't like that. But it had the leaves were kind of big on it, but the limbs were lower to the ground. I want to say the limbs were about 3 foot off the ground, and I could see where something was laying under there, y'all. And it was pretty big. It was like an egg shape, an oval shape. Something had been laying there that morning. And I'm like, oh my God. So what's even funnier is when we finally, I told you the deer stand where I smelled something there, we've got that stand all set up and everything. Well, sure enough, the next season I go in that stand, I started hunting. I said, oh, it's going to be a good stand. As soon as I got into that stand, that's before I had my sighting over there too. And it was probably about 2017, 18. And I'd heard something walking behind me. So I just started talking. I said, yeah, I know you're back there. Just like that. I don't know you're back there. With something through a stick at the side of the stand. So, you got 3 windows in the stand, right? The back door is where you walk in at. So you don't see anything. You only see in front. You see to the right. You see to the left. Something through a stick. And it wasn't easy. He was like, through that thing. Wow, bam, hit the side of it. I said, oh, boy. I said, yeah, I know you're here.
Wow.
I got some names for your Bigfoot. The Bigfoot is Andy Griffith, and the Dogman's Archie Bunker. He's throwing sticks at you. He's mean. He's grumpy.
Oh yeah,
he's grumpy.
They
He's like, no,
mess with you.
You're getting in their refrigerator, man. You're getting their deer.
Oh yeah, probably so. I don't know, but I've been really close to them before, though. I can say I've been close to them. And they haven't attacked me or anything like that. But like I said, now I talk to them and I try to communicate with them. I don't try to, mess with them or anything like that. So,
have you guys found any deer dead on your property? Like look like they had gotten a hold of them?
No.
I would think. Now, this is what I think. I think if something that big took game, for instance, they wouldn't leave much evidence.
Yeah.
behind.
Now, I have found where I thought was a bedding area where they all laid at and everything, and it was like a little ravine that went down. Okay, and at the time they heard a lot of oak trees in that area. I would call it a feeding area, is what I would call it, and it looked like white oaks were there, pin oaks were there, so they had a lot of acorns to eat. I call them acorns, however you say them. But they had a lot of acorns to eat in that area, and it looked like a place, because me and my cousin walked there one time. But it was funny, y'all. We walked down to that bottom, and we were supposed to walk through and go to the other side, and my cousin was leading the way, so I just let him lead the way. I didn't say anything, but he got disoriented down there, and he started walking. Yeah, he got disoriented in that area. So we walked down that bottom, and he wanted to go look at it. Because I told him, I said, man, I was sitting on a lean-to over there, and I said, I heard something down there. It's like it was crunching, like it was eating something, And so we went down. It was clear, y'all. When I say it was clear, it was like hogs had been walled all through there. But I didn't see any hair or anything like that. I didn't really look for any, but it was clear. And you could see trails coming in and out of that thing. And so we walked down in there, and was walking from the east. And all of a sudden I seen him turn, and he starts going toward, that would be like the south, So he starts turning the south instead of going west and going straight across. So from the east going to the west, And you come out on the other side on a trail. And he didn't do that. He turned. He said, man, I was just getting kind of disoriented down there. And I started, what?
Wow.
I think something zapped him. Now, he did tell me this past Thanksgiving, we was all eating dinner together and everything up there because we had like a little family get together. And he told me, he said in front of everybody, he said, well, I lost a deer. I said, you did? He said, I shot that deer. He said, I know I did. He said, I shot it with 270. He said, that thing hit the ground. I said, when I come down off the stand, he said, I went over to find that deer. It wasn't there.
Wow. We had one of our neighbors lost a deer this year, and he lost it in our woods, and he even brought out dogs and tracked it, and it went right to the dogs went right to where the thing stopped, or where the deer would had blood, and the dogs just kind of went back and forth and didn't know where to go, like something just took off with it.
Yeah, probably picked it up and carried it away, throw it on the shoulder and take off with it.
Is there any ponds or nice creeks and stuff in this area where you're at?
Yes, plenty of creeks, big creeks. When I say big creeks, you can, if it was cleared, there's a lot of logs and stuff going across there, but you could take a canoe or something like that, and go all the way down and get in this thing. And if you had a little electric motor on it, like a trolling motor, or you got these little electric motors now, you put them on with what they call it, a lithium battery, you could cruise up and down that thing. That's how big it is. But they're really pretty. They're clear, all spring fed.
Oh, wow.
But I have 2 springs on my, actually I have 5 or 6 springs, but as far as creeks, I have 2 creeks on my property, and they actually come from the National Forest. So there's plenty of water around there. There's water all over the place around there. And big ponds too. Some of these big ponds, I don't know where these things came from, but they're out in the middle of nowhere. But I will tell you this, during World War II, that was the place where Patton had went and did maneuvers all up in that area. My dad's 84 now, and he told me he remembered as a boy seeing Patton go in front of their house up there and going there, and everybody doing maneuvers up there.
Wow. I wonder if some of those ponds have caves in the bottom of them. There was a pond here in Indiana that the farmer went out and to check on his cows one morning, and his pond was gone. And what had happened was the bottom of it had blowed out, and there was an underground cave system. And this underground cave system had a river in it, and you can go down in there and take a boat down this underground river, and you can go so far back in there, and there's fish in there, like albino fish and crawfish and everything.
Crazy.
And I've often thought that would just be perfect environment for a Sasquatch. And especially if they could access a cave by swimming underwater, because they could probably hold their breath for like 5 minutes with the lung capacity that they have.
Well, I'm a firm believer that they use the cave systems, and they also use waterways. I'm a firm believer in that, because if they do have a clan or a family unit, they have to be by water. They have to be by a food source. And unless they are the ones with the fangs that actually eat a lot of meat, most of them require only vegetation. So I will tell you this, that on my property, and I believe that there's different types of Bigfoot. I don't think there's just the ape type. I think there's type that looks like us, because the one I seen didn't look like an ape at all. It looked like a human. Yes. This thing, I'm telling y'all, this thing looked human. It really did. It looked so human that I was just shocked, because it had, I could tell it was a Bigfoot when I seen it. But his hair completely covered in hair. Oh, the hair had some long hair, but it had an undercoat on it, and his hair was really, really pretty. But it was long, but it had like an undercoat in it, like a cat or a dog.
Do you think the dog man and the Bigfoot were walking together or traveling together?
Yeah. I'm sure this is my thought on Bigfoot and dog man. My thought is that the dog man are there for protectors. If you have smaller units and stuff like that, a clan or something like that, then these dog men are there protectors. If you go look at past history and all that, Egyptians and all that, the Egyptians use those dog men for protection.
Wow. Are you guys close to the Mississippi River by any chance?
God, yeah.
Because we have what's called the Wabash River up here. We got the big Wabash and the little Wabash River, and that'll all feed down into the Mississippi River. And there's a guy over in Illinois that has found Egyptian artifacts and Roman artifacts. Like they even found a tablet that they deciphered that said that they had actually came up the Wabash River up through the Mississippi, and that there was a colony of like 50,000 of them. And I don't know if you've heard this story about, I think it was Alexander the Great. They had captured 2 dogmen, and they fought against these dogmen, and they wrote about them in the ancient texts. And if a colony of 50,000 came, I've often thought that maybe when they came up that riverway, if that is in fact a true story, that maybe they had some dogmen on board with them, and maybe some dogmen got off in Louisiana or escaped from them and started a colony of dogmen there.
It could be. They call that the Rougarou here. And
Yes.
so I talked to a guy one time that used to work with us, and he was from Burkina Faso, Africa. So I began to ask him about this stuff, and I said, I started showing him pictures. I said, "You ever seen him with Bigfoot?" He said, "No, I don't know about Bigfoot." He said, "I never seen that." But I said, "What about this?" And I showed him the dog man. He said, "Oh yeah, that's in the Congo." He said, "That's the Lougarou." I said, "Lougarou?" He said, "Yeah, loop or either Lougarou," is what he said. And so actually Rougarou is a female, and loop or Lougarou, how they say it, is a male.
Interesting.
Wow.
French.
Thank you
So
for.
yes, sir. So if y'all look at the French is so down here the Rougarou is actually real. Yeah, so it's a female, and then Loup-garou or Loup-garou, how they say that is a male, and then the female's a Rougarou.
Wow.
And so when people down here talk about the Rougarou being a Bigfoot, that's not a Bigfoot. Bigfoot's Bigfoot.
Right.
It's a totally different thing.
Have you heard them called other names? Like the Southerners would call them different things, like catamount or like boogeyman or the boogers.
Woolly boogers.
You talking about Bigfoot or Dogman?
Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, they well in central Louisiana up there in the country where we're from, they call them the hide behind.
The hide behind. That's cool.
Hide behind because they hide behind trees. They call them hide behind. You see,
That's perfect.
They sway and they look and they come out and look. Hide behind. So they call them hide behind, or they call them boogers. Like a booger.
Did the
boogers over there? Yep.
Did the Bigfoot that you saw was he swaying back and forth by any chance, or just
squatted down?
Squatted
down like you see people in Middle Eastern or something like that. You squat down and sit. This thing just sitting there looking at me. You just checking me out, just like this, just looking at me. And
you felt like he was more, not as aggressive as the dog man that was with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that dog man would have come on. I was like, oh, this is fixing to get interesting. My hunting trip just got real interesting. I was going to light them up with that 30-06.
Did you see the teeth, the jagged teeth that they talk about on the dog man? Did he show you his teeth?
He just grimaced like this at me. He didn't do this. He went. At first he walking through just normal, and he looked down like he's like trying to look at me like this. And I was saying like that, like his lips like that. I seen all that. It was cool as all get out. He never.
Scott, did you get a look at did you get a look at the backwards legs or the hocks by any chance?
No, I could not see below the belly or the shoulders or the hands. I could not see the hands.
Okay.
And I could not see the legs. No, I didn't get to see that. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
He didn't show that to me. The only thing he showed me was the shoulders, like you see me. This is what I seen, and it's in the picture. So what you see in the picture is what I saw. So if you pull that up, I'll be glad to talk about it. We try it again. I don't know if it's going to work, but you try it again. But you'll see that the Bigfoot is squatted down. You'll see the eyes are yellow. If you zoom in on it, the yellow and orange, a starburst. And then you'll see the dog man coming in, and his head's like this when he's coming down. He's looking down the ground. He's fixing to stick his head up. And when he stuck his head up, he was coming through all that stuff, But what was weird was I never heard him. You can hear something like that, and it's like they weren't there and they were there. Now, how do you explain that? The other times I've heard them run through the woods, they sound like a cow going through the woods, man. They was just tearing stuff up when they come through.
Right.
I've heard them run through the woods before, and I knew it was them.
Hey Scott, anyone in your family have any encounters as well, or any your mom, pops, did they have any stories about these things as well?
Yeah, so my mom, and it's a different part of Louisiana where it was at, but my mom, when she was a kid, her and her younger brother were out playing, and so they lived out in the middle of the woods, I mean, even further in the woods than what we lived in. And so she told me she was going, and they had a tree they were going to climb into, and so they were playing in the woods and all that. And they look up, and all of a sudden she was taking her brother and pushing him up. When they looked up, they seen a black hairy creature up there. And she said she didn't know if it was a panther or what it was, but it just looked back at them like that. She said it didn't try to hurt them, man. It was just watching them. Well, they were trying to get into the same tree it was. When I was watching them. And so they ran down and ran back to the house and told my grandmother and everything. But this story I got that I'll tell you next is when I was a little boy, and I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. I loved to go stay with my grandmother. My grandmother lived way back in the woods. I mean, she was, like, you see how thick it is? That's the way it was around her house and everything too. So she lived way back in the woods. And what she did was there was an older couple that lived down the road, and so she would go take care. She was a caretaker for them. And so they had ended up passing away, the old couple did and everything. And so she just lived there in the house by herself. My grandfather had passed away, and I was only a couple years old when he passed. And so I loved to go stay with my grandma. She stayed by herself all the time. So I went, and she had an old board and batten house, and it was up off the ground. And it had to be a cool time of the year because she had the windows all open and everything, and it was cool on the inside. I remember sleeping under a quilt. And it wasn't cold, but it was cool. You know, she didn't have a fire going either. Because if it was really cold, she would have had a fire going. She had an old fireplace there too. But anyways, in the middle of the night, I heard some stuff walking around. And so I woke up and I leaned up in the bed and I was looking out the window. And she had 2 beds in this one room. Y'all remember them old wrought iron beds they used to have?
Oh yeah.
So they had 2 of the wrought iron beds back there. She was in one, I was in the other one. And so mine happened to be right in front of the dadgum window. And so I was looking out the window, and all of a sudden this thing walks in front of there. For the life of me, y'all, I told my wife I want to be hypnotized so I can remember and tell everybody what it looks like. But I remember seeing this, what I call a booger man, a monster, and it got in front of the window, was looking in. And when I seen that, I screamed bloody murder. And it was like it got shocked and it ran off. And so I jumped in the bed with my grandmother. I was screaming and crying.
Oh, I imagine.
So she woke up and she goes, "What's going on?" She goes, "I was just a cow." I said, "There wasn't no cow, Grandma. Wasn't no cow." So this is what my mom told me after I had my sighting. She said, Grandma, I tried to get in touch with her about that time. She said, and she went at the house. Well, back then they didn't have cell phones and all that. All they had was old party lines out in the country like that, in the woods. And so when she finally tried to get through, she couldn't get through to my grandmother. And she finally got in touch with one of I think it was an aunt. It was her sister-in-law or something. She said, "Oh, yeah, she's staying with such and such over there, one of her cousins." So she called over to cousins out. She said, "Well, Mama, why are you staying over there? You're not staying in your house." She said, "Well, I don't want to talk about it." She said, "It's something happening." So I just don't want to. She said, "Well, did somebody try to hurt you or attack you?" She goes, No, I just don't want to talk about it. So I think she's seen whatever it was came back around and it showed itself to her. But it wasn't long after that that my grandmother moved into another house, and she stayed there for quite a few years into this other house. And so she actually moved out of that house. So she wasn't there anymore. And so they moved into another place it had fields all around. I just remember having fields, a little patch of woods behind it, but fields all around that big old house. And she went from a little bitty house to a big old huge house. But she didn't mind. It was fine. So she had a big 3-bedroom wooden house that she lived in.
Long as she was happy, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, she was safe. She felt safe, and she was happy then. She wasn't scared anymore. And we've had other interactions with stuff like that, but at different parts now. Just different parts of Kisatchie and Catahoula Parish. I mean, not Catahoula Parish, but Catahoula National Forest, they call it over there. Yeah, so that's the picture right there. If you look at that picture real close, you're going to see the green leaves. And zoom in a little bit more. Back off a little bit. Okay, right there. So what you're seeing is, if you look at the green leaves, right above the green leaves, the top of the green leaves, you're going to see a face right there with your pointers. That's a face. If you look really, really close, you'll see the eyes. And so take your pointer and go down all the way down to the bottom. I'll show you where the legs are. Okay, right there. There's a leg right there. And then move over to your left. There's a leg right there. That's his actual knees. You go up, that's his legs. You go up, the knees are right there. It's the legs right there. And then the dog man's another picture to the. I can't see if that's a dog man or not. To the right of it, I think it's further over another picture. I think that's just a Bigfoot right there. But that's it. And that goes to show you how well. And that thing's probably 8 foot tall at least. If that thing stood up, yeah, there you go. You see it now? You can see the face on it now, right there. That's it. Stop right there. You can make out the head, the ears, the eyes. Point right there. Go to it. Right there's a nose. You're on the eyes now. Go side to side, 2 eyes, and then the mouth's right there. And then you'll go up and you'll see the nose. The nose is right there. That's it. So what y'all see is what I seen. Except the oily skin and the hair was not nappy. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't, mud like people say. I got mud all over there. No, this thing was clean. So it looked like it was very, very clean. But that's it. See how it looks human? It doesn't look. It doesn't look like an ape to me. What do y'all think?
I can clearly make it out, Scott. It looks like there's another one. Yeah, right, Lee. I was talking about that area right there. It looked like to me there was another one in the background.
Yeah, may have been. Like I told you, when they followed me out, there was at least 4 of them following me out. And I was fixing to light them up with that 30-06. They come through there. I was scared at the time, but now I don't do that to them. I don't.
So, how many times have you gotten the feeling of dread and being watched? Just that one time?
Never
or
dread.
That feeling, feeling of uneasiness.
No, well, a couple of times being uneasy because it was like I was just like, what in the world is there? Something in the woods with me right here? But right. I felt it at least 2 or 3 times. I felt that,
They say, so like normal anxiety. Sometimes it's heightened.
Right. So I'll go
which
back
makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll go back to about 2009, and I was working for an offshore company at the time, and so I didn't have a lot of time off, and I'd actually left out of the country and come back, and my cousin had called me and said, man, I said, you going to come hunting? I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know if I can get away. I said, I'll try to get away and come up there. He said, well, come on. He said, you're going to miss the hunting season. So I said, all right, well, I'm coming this weekend. No matter what, I'm coming. So he said, well, come on. So they had a time where you could drive, you could use dogs and everything and drive. A lot of people don't do that anymore, a whole lot in the area where we are. But at that time, my cousin had hunt dogs and all that. And he said, well, look, he said, go get on the stand. And he said, call me about 9 or 10. He said, if you don't shoot nothing by 9 o'clock, and he said, we don't hear you shoot or something. He said, you call me by 9 o'clock. I said, okay. So 9 o'clock, nothing happened. I was on a leaning tube, and I said, nothing's happened. I said, go ahead and bring the dogs over. Let's see if we can run something. So sure enough, he brings the dogs out. He lets them loose, and I hear them running. They coming toward me and everything. They're cutting up. So I heard something running. So I got off the leaning tube, and I start walking up this trail. It's a logging trail, and I walked up it, and it's actually a fire break. And so I'm walking to the top of the ridge where I can see where the deer is going to come out, right? So I hear something coming toward me. So I stop on the top of this ridge, and I'm waiting. And to the left of me is all briars, real thick. It's our hunting lease. And to the right is all pretty much clear. It's the national forest, and they keep it burned off and stuff. And so I'm waiting for whatever it is going to cross. I've got a shot. So sure enough, it comes. The dogs stop barking. They turn around and go back toward him. This thing comes, probably within 20, 30 yards of me, and just stops. So I'm like, golly, I've never heard of this before. Normally, a deer is just going to run straight through all that junk, and you'll see it come out, and you start, just start shooting at it. So anyways, I start walking down this fire break, and when I walk down the fire break, I see this hole, and this hole is about 2 or 3 feet like this, and this is what I see. I'm looking down through there, like I said, about 20, 30 yards, and it's just clear all the way through there. I'm like, good Lord, that's strange. So I pick up my gun, and at the time, all I had on there was a Tasco. It was a little 3x9 Tasco. And it wasn't all that clear. I mean, I could see good. If I had to shoot a deer, I could shoot a deer. But anyways, I looked through this thing, and my eyes were a lot better then, too. And when I looked, I seen this thing, and it had 2 pointy ears. And all of it was big, too. It was big. It was hairy. It was dark. But it had some brown and red highlights to it. But this thing had a muzzle on it. When I say a muzzle, it looked to me like a baboon, is what it looked like. And that one really freaked me out. Now I stayed there about 5 minutes studying, and all of a sudden that's another time I got that's what you talk about uneasy feeling. I got a real weird feeling. I started looking all around me. I'm looking all around the national forest. I'm looking, okay, I'm good on behind me because ain't nothing back there and ain't come across. I said, what is this? And I couldn't figure it out. So I'm like, all right. So I took off down the trail, went and met my cousin at the little clear cut where we got over there. It's a little lay down yard. And I started talking to him. He said, you didn't see that deer? I said, deer never came out. They never did. I said, stop somewhere up. And he said, you got to be crazy. So I said, man, it didn't come out. If it didn't, would have heard me shoot. So I promised I would have shot as soon as it come across. But it never came across. But I seen that thing, and it had, like I said, it had 2 pointy ears, had a weird muzzle on it, like a, I don't know, it's like a baboon is the only thing I can explain.
Oh, wow. Did it have the fangs? Did it have the fangs too, like a baboon? Kind of like the big, the big teeth?
For the life of me, I'm telling you right now, I can't remember that part. All I remember, like I said, I only had a 3x9 Tasco on there, and that's what I seen. Now, it was only about 30 yards, but it's still in all, that was a cheap scope. And I had it zoomed in the best I could on it. But after that, I went and bought a really good scope.
Did
I went and spent some money on a scope.
Did you catch eye movement? Is that how you noticed this thing coming? Or
no, I heard it running through the woods. It was
you could hear it running.
Big. Oh yeah, it sounded like a big old buck coming down through that. I said I'm gonna shoot me a 10 point today, man. I'm rolling. I'm ready.
Have you ever talked to anybody else that had hunted in that area where you're at, like the previous before you got this?
I have. Well, let me just say this: as soon as that happened, I reached out to a couple of people. The first person I actually reached out to, when I got back to the house, when I seen in 2019 when I took that picture, I got back to my cousin's house and I said, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. And they said, what? I said, you got time, you got a couple more days to hunt. I said, nah, I gotta leave. They said, okay. I said, I actually seen something. I said, what? I said, yeah, I seen something. I said, I don't know if I want to go back right now. So I showed them the picture and like, what is that? I said, I don't know. I said, I just don't feel good. So I came home. And as soon as I came home, I told my wife about it. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah. So then I called my cousin. So my cousin used to work for the Forestry Service up there. And I sent him the picture. I said, have you ever seen anything like this before in the woods? He said, no. I said, I never seen that. I said, but it looks big. I said, yes, sir. It's big. And I said, what about prints? I said, have you ever seen big prints or something like that in the woods? He said, Scotty, the only thing I've ever seen was one time I seen a really big, long wolf print. And he said, but it was weird. He said it had a dog print in the front, but it had a long thing like behind it. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I seen that. I was marking some trees one time to be cut. They were going to come through and, harvest all the trees. And he said, I did see that. He said, but other than that, he said, nah, I never seen nothing else. But he stayed in the wood for years. I mean, he worked all that area,
Wow. My great-grandfather was a timber estimator down in Mississippi. Yeah. And he talked about going in virgin timber and finding people that was living way back in virgin timber where, like they were living like the pioneer days, basically.
Yep. That's what my great-grandfather, he was all in the area. So these creatures, these beings have seen all of my genealogy. They've seen my great-grandfather, they've seen my grandfather, they've seen my father, they've seen me. So they know me, okay? They know me well. They seen me when I was a little boy because we used to have a house up there on that property until it just got old. It was an old shotgun house, and they eventually just tore it down, It just got old. We just never went back up there and messed with it too much. We were too busy down here working and doing stuff.
You think maybe these creatures have seen you when you were a child and maybe have a bond with you?
Oh, yeah. I think that's why they've been trying to reach out to me and stuff like that, So,
do you think these things have something to teach us? I kind of feel like they do. They want to teach us something. There's something there. That's how I feel anyway. I could be totally off base, but
let me say this. You're talking about teaching, okay? So, when I used to go out there at the time before me and Dana were married and everything, me and my wife and all that, I used to bring my little pocket Bible out there. So I'd read my Bible, sometimes I'd read out loud, And so they seen me doing all that, okay? So later on, after Iman spoke to me everything, and lately, the last 2 years, I started trying to communicate with them and stuff like that. And so I closed my eyes before, and it just sat and just quiet, kind of meditating and stuff. And I started meditating and just trying to talk to him. And I said, look, if you are here and you can talk to me, I said, let me ask you a couple of questions. I said, y'all believe in God? They said, yep. I said, you believe in Jesus? Yep. Okay. I said, well, let me ask y'all a question then. You know, I'm just trying to throw something out there. I said, how can I be closer to God and to Jesus? They said, be more reverent.
Wow. That's deep.
Be more reverent. I'm like, you know, they don't teach that in
Unbelievable.
church. Let me just tell y'all something. They don't teach that in church these days.
That's amazing.
So
That is
I had to
amazing.
go. I actually had to go look this up and say, okay, how do I become more reverent? And so I started looking it up. I didn't know. So sure enough, I looked at it and it said, be more holy. You know, so carry yourself in a different manner. You know, so how are you going to approach these things? Number one, you're not just going to walk in there and beating on trees and all that. Start doing that. If you want to approach them, just go sit out there and don't bring a gun. Just go sit out there and start meditating and start talking to them. Introduce yourself to them. Hey, I'm here. I'm not here to hurt your family or your clan. I'm not here to harm you. So please don't harm me. Let's make a pact right now. You don't harm me. I don't want to harm you. And let's just talk. You know, let's just talk and see what you get, because that's the way I started communicating with them. And every time I go out there, I just say, hey, I'm back. You know, I'm here. And so I said, I'm here to shoot a deer. You know, I'm here. That's the only time you ever see me. I'm not going to come here and bother y'all or come mess with y'all or anything like that, you know. So after I had my sighting, this came to me. It's not what you believe, it's what you're willing to accept.
That very well put. Very well put.
So I'd never heard that before in my entire life. It's not what you believe, it's what you accept.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's pretty deep too. So I mean, it's how deep you want to go. I mean, because once you start talking to them, let me just tell y'all, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's just, you know, you have to understand they've been here for a long, long time.
It's almost like God. It's almost like God is using these as a messenger.
Yep. Well, man,
wow.
What? Let me ask y'all a question. What does God's messengers look like?
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
What does God's messengers look like?
Absolutely.
You tell me. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
So
you're still figuring that out. They can come in all forms, I'm thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was talking earlier, and I started meditating with them again, y'all. This is where it gets off a little bit, okay? And so it gets really deep, not off, just deep, okay? And so after Hurricane Ida had come through, it did a number on us down here in South Louisiana, especially between New Orleans and where we are and all that. So we caught a pretty big chunk of it, knocked out our electricity. So we was out of electricity for like 5 days or 6 days. And so the second day at night, me and my wife went outside. Was sitting on a little patio we have, and we were just facing the south. And you know, the wind was blowing real nice, and everything wasn't bad, so it was cool. And we'd worked in the yard all day, picking up limbs and cleaning up and all that. So we had a big old 2 or 3 big piles out there. So we were just relaxing, you know, drinking some water and stuff, just cool and all. And I look up in the sky, and I said, "That looks like a UFO up there." She said, "Well, how do you know what a UFO was?" I said, "Well, remember we went to this little church outing we had with some people?" And I said, there was a guy that was a sergeant in the Marines, and he said, he's the one that taught me how to look for them. He said, what you got to look for is an LED light. And so if the light's not blinking or it's not glittering, you know, because the glittering is like a star or a planet, okay? And if it's just a solid silver thing going across, well, that's usually a satellite. But if it's just a dull white LED light, look for that. So this thing's coming at us. And when it came at us, it's coming from the south. I started talking and said, hey, I can see you. And this thing changed. It went from an LED light to a ring that's blue and silver and just starts spinning like this. I said, look, Dana, I said, that's a UFO right there. So it's coming at us. And all of a sudden it goes 45 and it takes off to the west going toward Texas.
45.
Amazing.
I've heard them say they will move in a 45 like that. That's one of the classic.
Quiet, y'all. When I say quiet, because I told her, she said, that's an airplane. I said, where's the blinking light at? Ain't no blinking light. She got up out of her chair. She goes, I'll go back inside. I said, they want to get you. They come in the house and get you. I started dying laughing at her. She goes, I'll go back inside. I said, what you going to do inside? I said, they want to get you. They go get you.
when that thing fired up, like lit up, did it go from just like a like looking like a satellite to like a donut shaped object like of light?
Yes, it was like a flat. It was more like a flat frisbee, is what it looked like, with a
Yes,
hole in the middle of it.
I've
And like I
seen it
said,
twice.
yes, it was silver and blue, spinning. I
And
said,
the
check this out. It
the
must have been some kind of heat source or however they power these things was up under it. That's the only thing I can say.
mhm. The two times that I saw it, it was behind me, and I looked right up in the direction that it was coming, going across the sky, and
Yep.
it lit up like a donut. It was like I was meant to see it, and there was
Oh,
people
yeah.
standing there around with me, and I was like, "Did you just see that?" And
Wow.
then as quickly as it appeared, it went away. I've seen that twice.
Wow. So we was at the hunting lease the season right before that. So my little cousin was there. We was all sitting out there. We made some hot dogs and stuff like that. So we was cooking over a big old fire and all that. And so everybody went inside. So they was starting to get late and everything. We was gonna get the next morning, go hunting again. So one of my little cousins, he stayed out. I say little, he's 20 something years old. He's younger than me. But anyways, he was out there talking. He said, and he calls me Uncle Scott. Actually, his cousin, they called me Uncle. He says, Uncle Scott, so I want to tell you something. I said, okay. So go ahead. You tell me anything. He said, we was all, me and a bunch of buddies were out on the lake out there where he lives at. And he said, we looked up in the sky one night. We seen these like bright white lights just going across the sky. I said, really? He said, yeah. And he said it was just like 12 of them or something like that. I said, wow. So I don't know if that was UFOs or if that was part of the
Starlink.
Starlink. Could have been Starlink or something like that. But this is what's funny, y'all. He was just talking about that, and I said, well, look, there looks like something like there looks like an LED light now. This thing went from right in front of us to going across, and when it went across, all of a sudden a bright light in the sky come off, and this thing was gone.
Wow. That's fantastic. I had a friend at work that got footage of a string of lights like you're talking about.
Yep.
But they were an orange color, and they were traveling together all, like Starlink. Everybody would think that it was Starlink, but Starlink just kind of straight across the horizon. This thing was at an angle, like it was like the bottom light was down towards the ground, and then the string of lights went up in the air at an angle. I would say at a 45-degree angle, and it went across. She had footage of it crossing across the sky like that.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So getting back to communicate with them, I was communicating with them one time, and I said, I'd like to fly a spaceship. I said, what is it like to fly a spaceship? And I was kind of like, when I was meditating, I'd close my eyes, and I was just thinking, and all of a sudden it came to me, the way the spaceship was set up. It's like you walked into the back of it, and then once you came into it, when you sat down, this thing came in on you. It wasn't like you see controls like we have at all. It wasn't like that at all. It's like the inside came in close, and then whenever you controlled it, it was all like it was more like fluid around. Like
was it like thought propulsion? Like, did you?
Yes. So that's what I was going to tell you. So it was like they told me to put my hands down, and when I put my hands down, it was like they said, well, I said, well, how do I go? They said, well, wherever you want to go, you just put your hands down, and saying you just think it, you go. And so it was like I put my hands down. It was like it was trying to take off and go up, And so it's like we took off, and it's like they showed me in my mind how it works. They say you just think about it. That's how you do it. They say it's not something you control. You control it all where your head.
Wow. I had heard an account of secret space program, and they talked about a ship. This guy talked about a ship called Minerva, and he said that when you sit down in the ship, this thing would link into your nervous system, and you would be able to fly it with, like you said, with your mind.
Right.
So
this thing, when you sit in the seat, though, I'm trying to show you, but it's kind of on a cell phone. But when you sit down in a seat, this seat closed in on you, it fits your body.
Oh wow!
It came in on you. It's like fluid. It's like, how can I explain? It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like it closed in on you, and then the controls in the front were like you had a display kind of like thing, but it didn't look like anything we have. And it's like when you put your hands down, that's what when you put your hands down, that engaged it, and you thought about it. You just wherever you seen, that's where you went. That's how you control
the place where you put your hands down in it. Did it have like finger grooves where your fingers fit into the grooves, or you just?
No, like I said, it was more fluid. It wasn't like
more
that.
fluid,
more.
Like
I don't think I can explain. It's really hard. I can't explain because it's nothing like we have here. You know, it's like I said, they can show you all kind of stuff. How far you want to go with this, that's up to you. But it's like they can show you all kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, just them, the things they do is crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Do you think that there's a link between these Bigfoot and Dogman and UFOs? Do you think they're connected?
100%.
Yes, sir.
Without
I
a
think
doubt.
so too. I think so too.
I'm gonna go back to this again. Okay, I think the way they move around are portals. Number one, portals. They can move in out of dimensions. You can't see them. They can go cloaking. The next thing is they're gonna have a group of dog men protecting them. Just like if you and I have a dog, they're gonna have dog men protecting them. Okay, so that's their outer link. That's their outer circumference around them. Okay, and you've heard of them fighting with dog men. I think there are some dog men troops that are out there. Some groups that have their own thing they do. They got some Bigfoot that are rogue. They got some dog men that are rogue. But I think that they are in with certain ones, not all of them, are in with the UFOs. And as the UFOs needs them, they go and need them. They go in and pick them up and they bring them where they need to go out. I've heard of stories where, not here, but I've heard of stories that were in the mountains and the UFOs had dropped them off and they had went over there in caves and were actually mining.
You know what? I mentioned that on our show the other night about them. I had heard that they were developed for mining. They genetically manipulated.
They're huge, man. They're big. I mean, they're big. They can carry a lot of weight and stuff like that. They can carry 10 times what we can carry.
You know, like, for example, here in Indiana where we live at, we have bedrock, a lot of limestone and bedrock quarries. And like when you walking through the woods, you'll see great big boulders and stuff. And if there was a cave system under that boulder and these things are that big, they could lift it up, get underneath it, and you would never get a crane back there big enough to even get those boulders up.
They can move all that where they want. You want to try post another picture or not? You think it's
I can try that.
I know it's funny, y'all. Post the one where they got a broken pin oak tree. You're gonna see a pin oak tree laying across the road, and I'm gonna point something out to y'all.
Okay, let me.
I got a yellow arrow pointing toward it.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to shrink it down, and
sure.
Can you still see it, even though I shrunk it down?
I see that one, but yeah, go to the picture. You're gonna see one I sent. It was one of the first ones I sent. It's got a tree going across the road.
Let me see. Oh, I'll blow them up, and then you tell. Well, I can't manipulate through that the folder unless they're little.
Okay, yeah. Well, go ahead. It's gonna be one of the first ones I sent, and you're gonna see a yellow arrow pointing toward a tree. It's broken.
Is this it?
I can't see on the screen.
Oh, it's not sharing it. Okay, let me see.
No, you got to take the Bigfoot out and put that one on there.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Just click on it and see if it'll come up.
Okay, yeah, I had it there. Okay.
See if you can drag it.
Here we go.
That's it. Blow that one up. All right. Go to the tree first. Okay, you see the tree that's going across the road?
Is it down here or right here?
Yeah, that's it. That's a tree. So you see the arrow pointing toward it? That tree, y'all, is about a 5-inch oak tree. It's a pin oak tree that's growing straight. And they went over there and snapped that thing.
And is this part of it over here where they just snapped it off at the top?
It's still growing. It's laid on the ground growing. Go zoom in on it. Go zoom on the arrow. You can see it's still growing, but they just bent it and snapped it. So my cousin was a police officer, okay, and I went and showed him that. He's all the wind did. I said, "Hold on, bud." I said, "Come here." I went to a little shrub next to him, and I took the limb. I broke it with my finger and showed him. I said, "You don't think something can walk over there and do that?" He said, "Nah, I don't know if I believe all that or not." I said, "Well, it snapped." I said, "The wind didn't do that." I said, "We haven't had any weird hurricanes, and this is before all the hurricanes and all that." All right, now zoom back out, and I'm gonna show you something.
Okay.
Okay. Zoom it back in a little bit. No, go back. Yeah. I'll stop right there. Stop. Okay, zoom back out a little bit. Go back in. I'm sorry, go back and stop right there. Okay, I want y'all to look at something. Now, this is me just saying this, and I don't know 100%, but it really, really, really looks like footprints to me.
Right down here?
If you look on the left-hand side, just footprints. You look on the right-hand side, just footprints. If you look in the middle real close, it's like little bitty footprints. This is my theory. You look at the big ones on the left-hand side, that's the male. The male walked over into the bushes over there a little bit and walked to that tree and snapped it. The female's walking on this side, and the little kids are in between. But the female, if you look at this first print, you can almost see a curve to the print. Zoom it
Right
back.
here.
Yeah, zoom it in a little bit. You see a little, no, the other way. There you go. Look at that first print. You can almost, stop right there. You can almost see the toes.
Yeah, right in here. Yeah, right there. It's like a little toe right there. And
isn't that crazy?
Arch. Yeah, I saw toes. Yeah. I can see toes over here on this one too. There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, probably a fifth one over here. But that's a really wide one right there. Wow. When I first saw that, I thought that were rocks. It was rocks on there. Wow. That's fantastic, man. Wow, you've got some good stuff, man. Are you still there? Oh, he's out. Oh, he went out. Are you there, Phantom?
Yes, sir. Awesome. I was listening. I was just backstage. My bad. No, those prints were amazing. You know, when I first saw that picture, I thought those were stones.
Yeah, I did too. That's what did you see the toes on it in the art?
Yes. And I was going to tell him, you know, the reason why they're so ginormous and wide looking. Imagine if it's a little muddy. Man, those things will leave an impression that big. You know what I mean? Just from the weight alone.
Absolutely. Here he's coming back in. There he is. Oh.
Excellent prints there, Scott.
I can't hear him again, David. Can you hear him?
No, sir.
Gotta go for tonight.
I think it has something to do with the screen share. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's conflicting with it.
But the pictures are showing up great. Good job, man.
Yeah, I don't understand what the conflict is though, because it seems like every time we do it, it knocks him offline. And I'm not hitting anything or, you know, knocking him out of the chat room or anything.
Right.
Can you send him a text, David?
I don't have his number. I can only reach him on Messenger.
Okay.
Hold on.
I was going to say, all right. Let me try it again. No,
we're gonna definitely have to have Scott back. He knows so much. He hasn't even got into most of the stuff.
Oh yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge here. He's blowing me away.
Sorry about the issues, guys. But it's a work in progress, everyone, and we got faith. We're gonna get through it. It's not gonna stop us.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody that came and in the chat room and is watching us live.
Yes, sir. Good night, Renee. Thank you for showing up. That means a lot. Tell little man hello.
Hey, Scott, can you hear us? If you can hear us, can shake your head yes or no?
I can't see him though. I think he's trying. There he is. There we go.
Dang. I wish there was a way we could send him a message on here.
I know. I wish I could sign language. I could write it on paper and then put it in front of the camera.
Yeah, you might try that, David. Write him a message. I don't have any paper on me right now, or I would have. Just bear with us, everybody. We'll try to get this straightened out here.
Would you like me to reach out to him and we can wrap this one up and have him back?
Yeah, if you would like, we can do that.
No, hey, it's up to you, buddy. This is us, man. It's not. It's not. I want to make sure it's cool with you too.
I'd like to get him back on and talk to him for just a few more minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, me too.
Thank him for coming, and
absolutely. I think he's going to try one more time to come back on.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Let me shoot him a message real quick. I'm going to be muted for just a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Are you back with us, Scott? Sorry, Scott. We can't hear you, buddy. Hey, Scott, do you see any error message on your end? Are you there, Phantom?
Yes, sir.
Did you get a hold of him?
No, I sent a message, but still hearing back.
Sorry, Scott. We can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, he's trying.
I'm chatting with him on StreamYard here to figure it out, and he asked if he's seeing an error message on his end, but I can't ask him.
Hello?
There you are. There he is. Are you there, Scott? Can you hear us?
Okay, I'm gonna have to take those earbuds out. For some reason, it wasn't letting me communicate. All right, yeah, I'm back. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
It's all right. I wonder if it's
Yep.
it's something to do with the screen share and the and your earbuds or something.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I haven't done this many times with the iPhone. I've always done it with a computer, so I haven't had any issues with the computer every time I did it. So, yep.
Those Scott, those prints
those
prints are some of the best prints I've ever seen.
Isn't that crazy?
That's just
if you look at that. I'm telling y'all, first look at that picture, you never think to look at prints, would you?
No, I thought they were stones. I thought they were rocks.
Those are prints. And I
had no clue.
And I sent that to somebody. I said, check this picture out. What do you see? Oh, I see a tree snapped over there. You probably see the yellow arrow, right? You see the tree. Oh, yeah. I said, zoom in on that tree real good. So he zoomed and said, yeah, that thing was like it snapped right there. Yep. I said, it's definitely snapped. I sent him back out of the picture. What else do you see? Well, I'm looking in the woods. I said, nope, look at the road. What do you see? I see a road. That's like people can't pick up on these tracks, you know? That's one of the first things I look for in pictures. I look for tracks. I look for faces. So if I'm looking in the woods and they cloak so well that you can still see them, right? The first thing I'm going to look for is I look for eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I look for is I look for a nose, I look for a mouth, and I start looking for a face of a head. And then next thing
ear tips.
You might start getting that or something. That's the first thing I look for is eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's like for some reason they can't hide their eyes. You're going to see a shape of an eyes or something else. You know.
I have one, Scott, here, not too far of some in my pictures, about 8 photos of one with just one eye. It always shows up. It always shows up with just one eye. I'll share it with you some later, and it always makes me wonder, like, wow, is this the same guy? Because it's always that one eye.
Wow.
Like maybe injured or something.
It could have been a fight or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ever tell. But yeah, I mean, one of the craziest stories I've got is, you know, I started reading books. So 2019, I started buying everybody's book. Everybody put out a book. I went to Amazon. If I heard it on somewhere, if I heard it on a show, or I started looking on YouTube, I just started buying books. I mean, I'm buying books. I probably spent hundreds of dollars on books, just buying. So when I started buying books, I started reading them. So I'd go early into work, and then I'd spend about 30, 40 minutes reading. And then I put the book down, and I'd come back until I finished the book. So I did that. Since 2019, I've been doing that. One guy I ran across was, they call him Kiwani Lapsaritis. Normally I don't name drop, but I'll drop a few names here. And I read both of his books. He's got some interesting books, really, really interesting books. He's out of the West Coast. Has some really interesting things that he brings to the table. He talks about talking to him. And then there's another guy, Dr. Johnson. So Dr. Johnson had an experience in a cave in Oregon, and then he's made contact with him. So I bought his books off of his site, and I started doing what he said. He said starts talking to him. So that's when I started talking to him. Now this story gets even crazier. So he says he calls them the Janu. Got a name for them now, the whole group of them, all their people. Like you call us humans, you call them the Janu. So I said, all right. So I go in the woods and I get in the deer stand. And that evening, as bright as all get out, it's 6 o'clock, sun's starting to go down. Ain't nothing happening. I didn't see no deer or nothing. So I'll go out there and I say, hey, if y'all are real, are y'all the Janu? That's all I said. Are y'all the Janu? And all of a sudden, silhouettes start coming all over the woods. And at first, I was in shock. Okay, I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. So all of a sudden, something tells me, it says, start taking pictures. So I said, oh, okay. So I start taking pictures. I'm snapping pictures. And I start snapping pictures, all the woods. You're going to see one that I sent you. I don't know if I sent you that one or not. But when the first face came up,
it looked like Eddie the Munster on the Munsters. Y'all remember that show called The Munsters?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So it looked just like Eddie the Munster. Had the hairline down the middle right here and the dark hair and everything and then eyes and all that. Looked just like that. Now, what came behind it was even bigger. I mean, bigger silhouette of something else. So they're able to manipulate their size, what they look like. And then what's even crazier was a black figure came behind a big, huge pine tree. Now, this is about 60, 70 yards away from me, okay? And all of a sudden, I see this thing come around the tree with a hand on it. I'm like, what in the world is that? So anyways, I take pictures of it and everything, and it's starting to get dark by then. So I just pick my stuff up, my rifle, and I pick up my bag, and I just take my iPhone with me, and I just go on in. I start looking at all these pictures. Well, they looks like they had a mother come around behind the tree and stick the baby up. She's actually holding the baby in the palm of her hand like this around the tree.
Wow.
Yes. And so all I did was call them the Janu. So, I take people what they say and I put it into practice. I want to see if it works or not, okay? And after that, I started talking to them, started mind speaking to them. And it was like, that was some kind of secret word to them or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go in the woods, all you do is don't go and beating on trees and all that stuff, throwing stuff at them, feeding them and all that. A lot of times they don't want your food because they don't eat what we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring them pizza and all that kind of stuff because they don't eat all that. They eat nuts, they eat acorns, they eat stuff like that. Now, the ones with the fangs, the what I call the bad ones, you don't want to be around them dudes anyway. Okay, you don't want to be around none of them. They're bad. They're the meat eaters. There's the ones that will eat you. Okay, there's bad ones that are just like they got good people and they got bad people. Those they got good Bigfoot and they got bad Bigfoot and other things out there that I don't even want to talk about. When I get that feeling, I'm gone. I don't hang in the woods. I don't go out looking for stuff. I don't look for tracks. I don't look for broken trees. I don't look for anything. I get out of the woods because something's there that don't belong there. And a lot of times they'll tell me get out of there, and so I'll leave. And so I just know that they're looking out for my best interest too, right? And so, anyways, when you're out there in the woods, you don't have to do all those things because they don't always eat the food that you eat, because they know your intentions already. So if you're gonna bring something out there to them, make sure it's like a tomato or a cucumber or something fruit or something like that. And then if you want to give them some kind of nuts, give them something like pine nuts or something like that, or pecans or something they can eat. They'll appreciate it because otherwise, it's somebody. I was talking to somebody else and they kind of brought it to me like this, the woods is their home. David, suppose I come up to your place up there and I got my 30-06 in my hand. I walk in your front yard. What you going to do?
I'm going to be upset.
Exactly.
I'm going to get my 30-06.
Exactly. So guys, understand the woods is their home. And so they're first of all, they're going to send that dog man after you. Mm-hmm. After that, they'll send the young Bigfoot after you. And then after that, you're going to deal with the big male.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to deal with him. Promise you. You don't want to deal with that guy. That guy is so big. People don't know how big these things are. How they hide. They are so easy to move around in the woods. When they can cloak, they can blend in. They can stand behind a big old pine tree or something like that. You'll never even know they're there. And these things are 10, 12, sometimes even bigger than that. 12 feet tall. I got 10-foot ceilings in my house. And you think about this.
Regulation size basketball goal is 10 feet. That's not little.
That's not little at all. And you ask yourself, my God, how these things get around in the woods? They're huge. And you've seen the footprints in that picture. These footprints are huge. Huge. For something that can make those kind of prints and do that. These things are something else. It's first of all, don't go play with them. People want to go in the woods. I don't know how people go in the woods with guns and all that, and they say they're going to shoot one and all these things. If they want you, they could surround you and throw a big tree at you and crush it.
Be done with it. Yep.
They don't have to do. They are very, very lenient toward us.
They could take you in. They could take us in a second.
They take a big rock and throw you and just, knock you down and knock your bones out of you. That's
one of the things we got to take into consideration is that they have been shot at over the years. They have lost loved ones over the years, and some of them have a really bad taste in their mouth about humans.
Right. Yeah. That dog man, I think that's what happened to it. You know that? I really think that dog man has seen me. Just something was going on. I'm gonna tell you something that happened a few years ago. and they had some people from another area were hunting next to us, and they go into the national forest and we're hunting. And I heard a guy one time shoot off, like I know he had a rifle because I heard 5 rounds, pow, 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 real fast, and I heard, "Hey, get out of here! Hey, hey!" like that. And he was screaming. I was like, "What in the world? I never heard that noise before." But they were hunting next to us, and probably about 500 yards away from us. And I know it was a group of people that went in there and hunted, and we call that area the Bowl, and they were hunting in that area. And I heard that one time, and it made me think. I think someone went over there and got after them.
Wow. Do you think have you had any run-ins with any military or any
No,
groups of people coming in to mess with you guys?
no, never.
Never. Good. Very good.
Never have. I mean, I don't know them. If they want to talk to me, I'll talk to them. I'll go to work for them. They want me to go work for you, I'll go work for you. And I told that to somebody else recently. I said, "Look, why don't you use my skill set instead of still trying to tap into my phone, tap my computer," which it may have been what happened to my computer. My computer's broke. Maybe they broke my computer. I don't know. But here's the thing is, we got the skill set. Y'all don't. Otherwise, you won't be coming after me.
That's
Amen.
right. That's right.
I mean, if I got a skill set, I got a spiritual skill set that God gave me, and you can't use it, then won't you come talk to me and let's go work this out? You know, instead of coming in here and try to bully everybody around, won't you come and talk to me? Let's work this out. Let's see if I can get the knowledge that you need. What are you looking for?
Amen, brother.
You know,
Scott,
I mean, if you're looking for something, then tell me what you're looking for. You know, let's go talk about it. Let's go work this out, because I know one thing: you don't want to go in there and point a gun at them.
No, not at all. Me and David have talked about it, and we're not pro kill guys by any means. We want these things to be left alone, and we try to protect the areas where these people have had their encounters and sightings. And we don't try to tell everything that we know about where these things are at.
Right. No, I try not to disclose all the locations where we are and everything. I don't say all that, but these things move around too. I mean, most of the family units, you know, if what happens if they go in a clear cut, like their home where they were with us, they're going to move to another area. So I've had them move to other areas on me too. Sometimes you go in there, you don't hear nothing. I mean, the deer are running crazy all day. The birds are going crazy and stuff, but they're not even in the area, you know.
They're getting ready.
Scott,
Go ahead,
Scott,
David.
sorry, Lee. I was just thinking, for these things to mind speak, do they have to be close by? Can they still mind speak from very far away?
I think they could be anywhere in mind speak.
Good.
Like I said,
answer.
I think I 100% know, and I don't believe, I know they move through different dimensions. You know, I mean, if they can come from wherever and come to me at my house and talk to me, then
I absolutely agree. After seeing Mike's video last night and the orbs and the way they talk and the way they move in the orbs and the way they, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
I've had so many weird things y'all happen, and
He said yesterday that one was stealing his pepperonis out of the fridge, and the pepperonis wasn't even open.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that
is just so bizarre.
We've had a lot of weird things happen around here at the house, and like I said, we live in a neighborhood. Okay, and some things were so bizarre that I can't wrap my mind around. I don't even want to talk about it. That's how. I do want to talk about it, but I don't know if the audience wants to hear this. Have
you had anything fall out of the sky, like just fall out of the air in front of you, like a coin or a marble or anything like that?
We've had some weird things appear.
Yes.
Disappear and reappear. We've had that happen. I've had some things happen that that only mechanic would. This is just strange, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there with you.
Has any of it been jewelry? Has any of it been jewelry, Scott? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just curious.
No, you no, go ahead. You're fine. They don't mess with my wife too much. My wife got
jewelry. I've had jewelry disappear and then reappear.
Keys.
Oh wow.
Keys, wallet. They like to mess with your personal stuff that you feel all the time.
They want to take our money.
All right, so I'm gonna share a story with y'all that somebody shared with me, and this is what they said.
Awesome.
This is far stretched, but it's not what you believe; it's what you're willing to accept. Okay.
It's no judgment here, Scott. This is a no judgment.
And
Absolutely.
are
Absolutely.
y'all ready? Are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this was told to me because this same person that I talked to, and I can't use a name at all because I won't do that. But they said they have them living at their house. I kind of believe that because we have some weird things going on here. But they say that the parents would bring the adolescents or the young ones when they get to a certain age to come live with humans to understand them and know how they live. Wow. So how do you explain the 3 lights on the track lighting that's 10 foot up get moved? How do you explain 3 orbs in a house? And why do we have 3 of them? I don't know. The 3 of them decide to come stay with us. Like I said, we're Christian people. I try to live a good life. I'm not always perfect. I do cuss sometimes. But I still love Jesus. Okay.
Amen.
You know, me and my wife live a pretty cool life. We have a good life. We have a really nice life. But yeah, like I said, I've had them push me in the middle of the night. I've had them stroke my beard. When I grew my beard, they were stroking my beard. I've had the cats in the house just stand and stare, just look in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a dog run back in his cage before, the kennel, run back in the kennel. What else? The cats is one that's going to let you alert. They'll alert you quick. If the cat sees something, the cat's going to just look. Just stop and look. They're going to look. And it's like, okay, something's in here. I can't see it, but they see it,
Have you ever had them run up behind you out in the driveway and kick gravel at you and turn around and there's nobody there?
Okay, so I came in from work one time. Oh, yeah, we're going to go there. So I came in from work right after the hurricane, okay? And as soon as I got out of my truck, I closed the door and I heard whoop.
Oh, wow. He was there.
I looked around. I said, well, hey, I'm here. We're okay. I said, how are you? You okay? The hurricane was here. I know it was rough on all of us. I said, how are you? And it just hit one time. Whoop. Deep.
Wow.
I mean, deep. Whoop. And then my wife came home after surgery. She was really feeling bad. And all of a sudden, there was like a bunch of females outside hooping like owls. But you go outside, there's no owls outside. Go like that outside. Right outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's outside the house. Again, not in the house, outside the house. And it sounds just like owls. That's what I'm saying. This is the crazy side of it, okay?
Well, I was telling
even crazier. It gets crazier.
I was telling Mike last night that when I had both times that I've had experiences, I've right before it started, I heard the hoot owls.
Yes.
And about 5 minutes after the hoot owl, which didn't sound quite like a hoot owl, happened.
It sounded like a hoot owl, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, the area where I heard it, the tree where it was supposed to have been sitting in the hoot owl, I heard something drop down out of the tree that sounded like a log hitting the ground. And then it jumped from one ravine to the other ravine. And then we saw electric blue eyes. Yeah, there was at least 4 of them at one time around us, but they were only about 4 foot high, and they were almond shaped eyes. And these things peeked out around the trees, and they stood there and they tilted their head like a dog, like a curious dog when we were talking to them.
Yeah,
and there was no light source, so it wasn't eye shine. It was self-illuminated eyes.
Right. Yep. That's something. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Orbs. I've had different color orbs, blue orbs, green orbs. They say all that means something though. Like blue is peaceful. They're usually peaceful ones, and the green was there for the forest. They kind of take care of the forest, and then they have like the red and the orange are more like authoritative. As I say, it's authoritative. More an authority. Okay, and other than I don't know of any other ones. I mean, that's what I've known. That's what I've seen. But yeah, it's really strange to see that stuff in the woods, and some bright white ones before too. Bright white ones. Now, I don't know what the white. What do y'all know about the white ones? Anybody know anything about that? The white ones, the real bright white ones.
I haven't Go ahead, David.
I don't know anything. If anybody does, Lee probably does.
The only thing I'd heard, I think it was the green ones. I was told one time, if you see green ones, you get out of there, because that's not good.
That's the forest protectors, right?
Yeah, that's the way I take it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yellow eyes, I'm the same way, especially when you got those cat-looking eyes out there. That's gonna be the dog, man. You're getting close to some territory you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of. I've actually got a video of a guy that's in south of here, between Homa and New Orleans, and he's out there fishing, and they're actually bow fishing at night. And what they do, you know about bow fishing at night, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
bright lights.
Oh yeah.
So people don't know what it is. They take a boat, an aluminum boat or a big boat like that, and they call it a John boat or something like that. And then they put LED lights all around the front, and then they go real slow, like a real trolling motor on the back, and they go and they shoot fish, and that's how they harvest a lot of fish, So they do it in South Louisiana. It's always a good time, especially this time of year in the spring and all that. But anyways, your boat's about 2 or 3 feet below the land, with a tide coming in and out, and then you have this tall grass, and so reeds, what you'll call it. And all of a sudden, this guy's looking up, and he said, "Yeah, there's the rougarou right there." He said, "I want to show you what the rougarou looks like," and you can see it. It's all black, and the eyes are yellow, and this thing is walking with them. They still cruise along. They got their bows and arrows. They ain't getting stupid or nothing like that. They just cruise along shooting fish, and this thing's following them.
I got to ask you a question here, real quick. If I don't ask this, I'll kick myself. But
Okay.
how close are you to Mettering, Louisiana?
Metaire's not far at all. 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
I knew it. I had a feeling.
Yeah. So like I said, New Orleans, we're about 45 minutes from downtown New Orleans. If we want to go, where the Saints are and stuff like that, and French Quarter and all, it's not far at all. Not far. They got a lot of festivals going on right now. They've lifted COVID and all that, and so there's a lot going on down there right now. Everybody's ready to get out and start doing stuff too, and it's beautiful weather down here. So
Right.
yeah, and New Orleans always puts on a real good jazz fest every year too. So they're starting to do a lot more festivals, and so man, you got a lot of big names going down there, and it's this wide range. It's a lot of wide range of music down there. It's a good time too. You go down there to relax and just listen to music.
Sounds good. It's good to see people out and living life again.
Oh yeah. Well, we have a lot of that going on right now here in our hometown too. There's a lot of stuff going on. Well, people like to go out and cook and stuff too. So we like to get out and do all that, and hang out. And then we got big rivers here too. A lot of big rivers. And so, have you ever heard of Lake Pontchartrain?
Yes, I've heard that. That's the one isn't that the one the dam blowed out in Katrina? Or the
bridge? It was like a bridge fell over there, and then what it was a part of the levee broke.
Levee,
and then the water, the levee broke. Actually, is what happened. So that's where all the water came from into New Orleans, and so New Orleans sits low. It's below sea level and everything, so it's like a bowl. So all the water just came on in. When they finally got that fixed, all the water had to get in and out. So they built a lot of walls now, like a sea wall is what they built. And they can actually close the gates and stuff like that to keep all the water out, like a surge, like a tidal surge. Like you call a tsunami, it'd be like a tsunami coming in. So they can actually block all that off now.
Oh wow!
But anyways, you got Lake Pontchartrain, right? And so you've had some on the north side of that. You've had a lot of sightings, and then you come on across, and you got what they call a Honey Island swamp monster. Y'all heard of that?
Yes, sir. I've heard of Honey Island swamp monster. Yes, I've heard about it.
So you got that, and you come on over. There's a bunch of sightings from there, right across what they call Lake Marpaw. So Lake Marpaw runs into Lake Pontchartrain, another big, huge lake. Okay, and it's all swamp. When I say swamp, it's swamp all over the place. I mean, you got everything out there.
Oh my! You just can probably imagine what's living out there in those swamps, man.
I've asked my buddy. He's got a big pontoon boat. I said, let's go cruising rivers now. I tell him all about all this stuff and everything. He freaks out. He just don't like it. I said, all I want to do is let's get it like a GoPro. And we're going to put 2 GoPros on there, one on each side, and we're just going to go slow. We're just going to ride. Stay normal, stay calm, and we're going to go through there, and then I'll review the footage and see what we see in there.
That would be amazing, man. That would be awesome.
Hey,
You just go out
that'd be
there
a good spot. That'd be a good spot for your FLIR camera, Lee.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. And you just go out there and you're just riding, minding your own business. You know, we're not even looking at the woods. Don't even pay attention to the woods, but put your cameras up and let them run. And then we're going to go through all these small rivers through the swamp. You know, these little channels, I guess you would call it. And you go through all these. There's a bunch of them, too. You go, I mean, I say you get in the swamp, you get way back there.
Oh,
way
wow.
back.
You
And
get lost, too.
What's that?
You could get lost in there, too, can't you, in those swamps?
Not really. No, you got GPS now, unless your GPS went out. So, I mean, now they got GPS. It's going to show you how to get in and out of there. So it's not too bad. But yeah, unless your GPS went out, you had to be with somebody who's been there before.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my buddies, they know all those rivers and stuff back there. They go out those small canals and all that.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, I've been through some there before. I've been through a couple times. Me and my buddy went, and we just sitting there, you know, just cruising, just minding our own business. And I felt something before. I said, "Ooh, something's around here." I said, "Something's in this swamp right now."
Was that usually in a dark, shady area?
It was back in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
It was back in the swamp. Yeah.
Have you guys had any reports of? Have you ever heard of any goat men? Like goat?
No, not goat men. No, not our area. I haven't heard anything like that.
We had an encounter here. It was down around Louisville,
Yeah.
and they had a goat man sighting there, and the guy it had this guy's son under hypnosis, and it was like drawing this kid to it, and the guy got in between his son and this goat man and was getting ready to square off with it, and it jumped in the river and it swam off like a fish, like back and forth. But he said it was and he said it was about 5 feet, 5.5 feet tall, and he said it was all black and it had the goat horns and it stood upright. He said there was a bunch of homeless people coming up missing around the area, and that guy just knew that that's what was getting them.
Well, I'll tell you another funny story was I have a cousin. Her husband is a preacher, and so when I had my sighting in 2019, they'd come over, and it was all around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Also, I was up there and talking to them and all that. So I said, my dad had told me one time about him seeing something on their vacation to Hawaii. So I went and sat on the couch with him and said, "Hey," I said, "tell me about your sighting in Hawaii." He said, "Well, we had went and we were on a little diving expedition." He said it was more snorkeling than anything. None of us had big dive gear on. We had fins on. We rented all that. We had masks, and we had, just basically reef swim is what we were doing. But he said there was a huge drop off. This one reef that dropped off to about, he said maybe 200 feet or something like that. And so all the group was together with. He's just kind of one of these guys is going to be different, right? So he swims off and he goes toward that area they told him not to go to. But all of a sudden, there's this woman about 25 yards away from him did the same thing. All of a sudden, she's looking down, and all of a sudden, she comes up and she starts screaming. So she swims back real fast where he looks. So he starts looking where she's at. And he's kind of just swimming in one place, All of a sudden, he said this thing come up, had a crowned head like this, and he said it was looked like a human face, but he said the skin was kind of green looking, kind of greenish, bluish, yeah. And he said the thing looked coming right close to him, looked at him, and turned around and swam off.
Oh,
but
wow!
He thinks he's seen a mermaid, not a mermaid, woman, but a mermaid, a mermaid, man.
A mer dude.
Yeah, a dude. He said he didn't have any boobies on him, so he was like a man. So he didn't have long hair. He looked just like another man come in and looked at him. But his hair didn't have no hair on him either. So he was slick, had a comb like this, and he said it was smooth. But he said it looked just like a man's face, and so going and looked at him and turned off, swam off.
Wow. This world is an amazing place full of mystery and wonder, and it'd be kind of a sad day if we figured all this stuff out in one day and knew everything, and it'd just be kind of sad that
Yeah,
it sure would.
But it keeps us going. You know what?
Right. And they talk about this one guy had a sighting over here in Louisiana of a pterodactyl. Is that how you say that? Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. Yes.
Yeah. And so he was. You talked about Metairie and all that. Well, this guy was going between the bridge between, I guess it's New Orleans and Slidell, going that ways, which is right on the other side of Metairie. You know, that's basically where you got to get on it. I think it's called the Causeway or something like that. He was going across the big old long bridge. All of a sudden, he looks up and he sees this bird, big old huge bird flying across in front of him. They said when it crosses over and goes there, it's like right on the interstate. He said he's surprised that traffic didn't hit it. That's how low it was. But he said when it came across and went in front of him, it didn't have any feathers on it. So it was more like a
leather
lizard or a snake skin.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
He got a real good, close look to it. And then another friend of mine who was also a researcher.
Lechuza.
And what's that?
Maybe a Lechuza.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, this other guy I talked to, he lived in Puerto Rico, and he's a good friend of mine, and I keep in touch with him. But actually, he lived down there, and he went to the military, and now he's a film director now. And so he told us a story that he was down there as a young boy. His mom had sent him to the store to get some stuff. And anyways, he was coming back. And when he came back, he said one of those things came down and tried to actually get him and his brothers. Him and his little brothers walking together. It tried to come down and pick him up and take off. And he said when it rubbed up against him, he said that the skin felt like leather.
Wow.
So he's actually seen one firsthand.
Wow.
Later on, I'll tell you his name. I can't tell you right now, but yeah,
that's fine.
He just got his film director's license and all that, so he finished his course.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
So I can't wait to see what he comes out with.
Oh, that's exciting.
He used to have he actually used to have a Bigfoot channel, and he kind of shut it down for now. So I'll give you a hint who he is.
Yeah, keep us posted on that, Scott.
Oh yeah. So I want to see some big stuff coming out of this guy, and I'm still friends with him and all that. And I'd love to do some documentaries with him and all that if he wants to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'd sure make a heck of a Bigfoot film with all your evidence and all the stuff
man.
that you know. Man, oh man.
If I could get out there and mind speak them, get them to come do something, that'd be even better.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it really is. I mean, if you go out there and you start beating on trees, now they're looking at you like, you're crazy. What's this guy doing? Coming in. It's like if I come to your yard and I start beating on your tree, you're like, what in the world is wrong with this cuckoo guy? You know, why is he beating on trees? You know?
Oh yeah. You know, Scott, this is like a great big puzzle, you know, and all of us have a piece of it. And if we can all stick together and come together and start putting these pieces together, we're going to paint a picture and figure some things out. And that's what me and David trying to do with our channel here is to get people together and, like-minded individuals and nobody knocking each other and judging anybody.
No drama.
No drama, no judgment.
Yeah.
Let's just stay on the straight and narrow and let's figure this stuff out.
That's where I am.
love it.
Look, I'll help y'all out any way I can.
I appreciate it.
I'll go with you if y'all want to research. We'll go out there and try to talk to them and stuff like that. I know a lot of, look, in 2 years, I've talked to some really big names, and these guys have told me, man, you come a long ways in 2 years. One guy told me, I've been in this thing 50-something years, and he said, I haven't come as where you are. And I said, you just got to be yourself. You just got to go talk to them, you know. I said, just don't try to go and, try to manipulate them because you can't manipulate them.
I think
do that to them.
I think you have to be honest when you go in the woods, and you have to approach the woods as if you love everything in that woods, and you feel it in your heart and your spirit. And they know that about you when you get there. They know your intentions before you even get there. I believe that. And that's how I always go in the woods, because things can turn real bad real quick in the woods. And you're, like you said, you're in their home.
Yes, you got to show up. You got to show up with respect. You can't just go in like Scott said. If he showed up here with a gun, not everybody's going to like that. You got to show up. You're in their house, so you just got to show it with a deep amount of respect. And I can feel that. I can feel that in my spirit. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like another thing I said, if people go there and give them pizzas and all kind of stuff like that, you ain't got to do all that. Go first.
Donuts, all kinds of stuff.
They don't like all that. I mean, a lot of times it gets them sick when they do that, especially the little ones. The young ones, they're running there, smell it, they eat it. Next thing you know, they're sick. Then they're not mad at you.
Yeah,
It's like me and you walking through a park, okay? and we see somebody's kid, we just walk by that kid, give them something. We don't know if they have an allergic reaction to that stuff or not. We don't know if they. I'll tell you a funny story. My cousin came by here one time, and he went outside to get some of his truck. His little boy was with me. I said, "Well, you want some cookies?" He said, "Yeah, I want some cookies." He started eating cookies. He ate about 3 of them. He come back inside. His cousin. Y'all know where I'm going with this. My cousin walked back in. Oh my God, what'd you do? I said, "What you mean? I gave him some cookies." A kid. He said, "No, he got sugar diabetes." I'm like, I gotta get his seed. I gotta give him some medicine. I'm like, well, I didn't know. But to me, it wasn't funny then, but it was funny now. But that's the way it is. It's funny because we don't know. We go in there thinking we're going to help them and do things, but then you go give them something you're supposed to give them, and the kids eat them, get sick. Now you got the mom and daddy and all the dog men and everybody else mad at you. Because you went and gave them donuts. Go give them a candy bar. Give them a Snickers or a payday or something like that and see what it does. You're going to make the kids sick as all get in. You're going to have them throwing rocks at you and trees and everything else.
You don't want Archie getting a hold of any X-Lax out there. That mean aggressive dog man. Oh man, he'd be like a chainsaw.
Yeah. People say they go in there and give them tobacco and all that. I mean, I don't know about all that. I mind speak with them, and they come to me and talk to me, and I've asked them all kinds of things. They said, look, when you go and you give with a pure heart. Don't give them stuff that they pretty much don't want you to give them anything, because it's like I just told you. Okay, it could get real ugly for them real quick. Okay. The other thing is they really try to stay away from humans. They really don't try to. If you get to see them, they want you to see them. Other than that, you ain't gonna see them. They're not gonna see them. They're not gonna approach you. They're not gonna. If one walks in front of you, it's because they want you to see them. That's their way of making the first contact.
Oh yeah. I found a little juvenile footprint when me and my mom was mushroom hunting. I know the people in our chat's probably getting tired of me telling this story, but what I got out of it, it was like the mind speak stuff, and I was told that it was a gift. I was given a gift.
Yes.
To see that footprint I was given a gift, and I thought, oh my, I was just.
Yeah.
Well, for 45 minutes, I tried to track it to see if I could find any other tracks, and I couldn't find another footprint. It was just one right footprint, and it was a 4-inch track, and it was so tiny that, and it was cold out, and I thought, there's nobody in their right mind going to have a child out here.
Right.
One of the weird things that happened when I first found that footprint was the weather changed for just a split second, and I could hear cracking and snapping going like they were running through the brush back behind me, going deeper into the forest. And the wind started whipping around, and then just as quick as it came, it cleared up.
Yeah.
But
what's funny is, did you ever think to look in the trees?
I do all the time. I look up in the trees, believe it or not. And I actually did look up in the tree that day. I kept thinking maybe they climbed up the trees and I'm missing something here. And I did. I actually did look up. And this was an area where there was a valley that came off of 2 big hills, and this real beautiful creek flowed through it. And there were pine trees up in the ravine to my left, and they were breaking brush and running up over to where the pine trees were, heading into the deep into the woods.
Wow. So I got out and it made me think about something. I went to lunch with 2 guys a couple of weeks ago, and this one guy, it's the first time I ever met him, and we started sharing stories about this stuff. And this one got a mutual friend that introduced us. He said, "Look, both of y'all are about the same thing." And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, and after hearing his stories, I ain't nowhere clearer than what this guy has. And so he tells me, he says his grandpa introduces him to them. And the way he does it is he takes him squirrel hunting. So he goes out and he puts him in the woods in this little hollow, and he's in this little bottom where a bunch of, oak trees are and all that. And he tells him, he said, "Look," he said, "as soon as the sun comes up, the woods are going to go crazy and make all kind of noise. You're going to hear stuff jumping all over the place and everything." And he said, "Just never mind it. Don't pay attention to it." He said, "After that, it's going to get quiet again. Then the squirrel's going to come out and you get your squirrels." Okay. So he said, "All right." So sure enough, the sun starts coming up and all this noise starts going on, crazy and everything. Well, he'd walk down this trail to this bottom, and he looks back up this trail and he sees this stump. He said, I don't remember that stump being there. All of a sudden, the stump does this and looks at him.
Whoa.
He looks at this thing, and he's got an automatic shotgun, okay? And he's a young man or a young kid. I'd say probably right at teenager, something like that. He starts blasting this thing. It goes over the hill. So he's running after it, loading his gun, shotgun. Bam, bam, bam. And he's letting this thing have it. So he's running as fast as he can, and he's shooting at it. All of a sudden, he don't see it. It's like it disappears. And all of a sudden, he starts walking. He sees this hole, and he looks down. It's an armadillo hole. In the armadillo hole, he hears moaning, oh, like that. And he loads the shotgun. He sticks it down there. And he said the same thing happened. He mind spoke to him and said, don't do that. Don't shoot in this hole.
Wow.
Now, that's crazy. So after that, he still goes hunting. So he goes back, same area, and he says, sure enough, same thing happens again. The sun starts coming up, the woods start going crazy. Except this time he looks up in a tree, he sees a squirrel. He never seen a squirrel this big before in his life. He said, "It is a huge daggum squirrel. It's got a tail and it's coming down. It's climbing at him, going down like this." He said he took a shotgun, he poked up, and he started shooting at this thing. Bow, bow, bow. Well, come to find out, it was a young dog man.
Uh-oh.
And he blasted that thing. That thing took off. He said it started jumping from tree to tree to tree until he didn't see it no more. He said it was gone.
Oh, wow.
But he said it was the biggest squirrel he'd ever seen in his life. He said, man, that's the biggest. He said, 20 years, it looks like a big old squirrel, but he said it was huge. He said this thing was big, but it was a young dog man. He was blasting that thing with a shotgun. He said that thing took off. But here's the thing that gets me. He didn't kill neither one of them.
Wow.
Now, he didn't say whether he seen blood from either one of them. I didn't hear that from him out of his stories, his testimony. And he didn't say anything about any flesh or anything flying off of him. He just said he was just blasting them, but he says like it wasn't phasing him.
I believe it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He's lucky he didn't get attacked by something when he was running after that one.
But he was a kid, right? And that's the way his grandfather introduced him to him. So anyways, he told me another story. He said he'd been going out there and he'd been having interaction with him and stuff like that for a while now. And he said he had a son. His daughter got married to his son-in-law, and also son-in-law was kind of cocky, So he's like, man, they said, well, come on, so you can go hunting. I said, shoot, I do all kind of stuff. So sure enough, he starts mind speaking to him and said, just leave him alone. Don't fool with him. So they go out there and shoot deer, and they come on in. So he wants to spend time with his family up in the hunting lease, right? So he goes back up there. So finally, he just got tired of the cockiness and all that. He said, okay, go ahead and fool with him. Well, I think the son-in-law was sitting on a deer stand, and one of them walked up to him and almost tapped him on the shoulder. And he said he won't go hunting no more over there now.
Wow.
Walked up. I'm like, look, he's in a leaning to, and he said this thing literally walked up to him, and he never even knew he was there. It almost got up to him like he was fixing to reach out and touch him. And he said his son jumped down out of the leaning to and hauled back, hauled butt back. And he said I don't want to go back over there no more.
Oh my God.
I started laughing. So, there's some humor in this stuff too. Like I say, you mind speak to them, tell them to leave your family alone. They won't fool with your family and all that. They'll stay away. They may look at you from a distance. And he told me another story. He said this happened not long ago when there was still grass out there and everything, and where their hunting lease is. And he said he brought the zero turn up there and he was cutting grass and all that, right before the winter time and all that. He said he looked over and he put his sunglasses on. He had a big old hat on and everything, keep the sun off of him. So he's driving a zero turn. It must be a good sized property where he's at. So he says he's making rounds, going back and forth now. But every time he looks over to the side and he can see something. But he sees something doing this behind a tree, doing like this. And it's big. It's really big. It's like 10 foot, tall. So all of a sudden it gets brave and it comes around the tree and it sits down. And it sits down. And it's just watching him cut grass. And all of a sudden, he just stops and he looks over at it. And he said he took his sunglasses off his head. He looked there right at it. He said that thing blazed off. Wow. Well, there's some humor to this stuff, what they do and all that. Because he was like, Bigfoot didn't think he even seen because he had the sunglasses on and all that. So that may be a technique too. Is something funny you look that you think about. But starting to get summertime and all that. Take your sunglasses and put on, and start walking through the woods a little bit. Some in that way you may be able to pick up on something they don't see your eyes, and they don't see that you see them.
Good point. That's a good point.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I picked up on that from him. You know, this is a local Louisiana guy. You know, another thing. And so both these guys are Louisiana guys, but they don't want to put their name out there. So I said I won't tell you. I won't say anything. You know.
You know, Scott,
But
you was talking about the tobacco, like offering them tobacco.
yeah,
The time that I saw the blue eyes, I go to powwows and stuff, like the Native American powwows, and I met the firekeeper guy there, and he showed me how to do the tobacco with the prayers with tobacco.
yeah,
And I actually did that. I did a prayer with tobacco and basically talked to the woods and told them what our intentions were when we came there. And you sprinkle it out, you know, like on the fire or the ground or whatever.
yeah.
And at the end of the prayer, I said, "In Jesus' name." And that was the night that they came all around us, like they're
Wow.
and they basically circled us.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. The guy that I had taken in there, he was traveling across in the United States. He was looking for healing because he had heard that these things were healers and they could help healing. And so he traveled all across the United States. And you know who Matthew Johnson is? I just dropped a name.
I talked about him earlier.
He ended up with him staying. He got to stay a few days at his camp out there, and he got to witness the same eyes, the glowing eyes there that he did with me. And he called me after he went on his adventure all the way out there, and he called me and he told me, he said, "Man," he said, "that experience I had with you," he said, that was the best experience I had by far anywhere that he went.
Yep. So everything is a technique, right? So everything, our ways are not their ways, and their ways are not our ways. So we have to learn what their ways are and what it is, you know. And so there's a lot of things. I think I shared this with you earlier. We talked a little bit, and it's kind of like if I brought a cell phone to an island where they had a lot of people, say the people live there didn't have a lot of technology. If I put that cell phone there, they won't know what to do with it. I think there's an approach to everything, and we just have to learn what that approach is and how to talk to them, how to reach out to them, and communicate with them.
Well,
but there's some certain things we got to do. We got to learn that.
Yeah. Yes. We've got to have respect, and I think we have to be evolved enough that we have peace in our heart and peace and love in our heart, and
yes.
And we have to not just talk it, we have to walk it. And I think they recognize that. And I think one of the reasons why I even had my experiences in the area where I've had it is I took my mother-in-law, and she's handicapped. I had to help carry her down into this creek, and I set up a picnic table with balloons on it, and it was a real beautiful creek with bedrock, and I could feel these things watching us. I mean, it was like they were watching us, and I think they gave me the gift of that footprint because they saw me do that, and then they'd seen me in there a time or two with my mother as well, mushroom hunting, and. I thought, what an honor and what a gift to get this footprint. And the bad thing about this area is they're getting ready to log it out, and it just makes me sick.
No.
It just makes me sick.
You're gonna get some mind speak then.
Yes.
Y'all, this is funny. My cat came up here and she's looking all around to see if something's in here right now. Because I mean, she's walking around meowing, like looking at the ceiling, like what is that? I'm like, quit it. But she's going nuts right now. She's up there meowing. She's looking at the ceiling, going, "Look, meow, look up there." I'm like, "Oh, all right."
Hey,
sorry. Yeah, she's letting me know there's something in here with us.
That's amazing. Wow. I have cats that'll do that at night. They'll jump up on our bed and they'll look right behind us in the bed, and then they'll look around the room. Is she following anything around the room right now?
Oh yeah, that's what she's doing.
She knows where it's at.
I tried to come here because I'm afraid she was going to jump. She was going to jump on the camera right here on my phone because she was trying to look around and jump. Oh yeah, you've seen a cat chase a laser.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That's
all right. So y'all look. You talk about funny. It's hilarious. But they're with the orbs now. So they're looking at these orbs and they start meowing at them now, and then they start trying to catch them. And I'm like, oh my Lord, man, it's funny. So something's in here right now, man. I know it is because she's meowing at the ceiling, looking around.
You know, you was talking about the island with the people that didn't have any technology and wouldn't know how to, work a cell phone or whatever. the abilities that these Bigfoot have, like being able to go through portals and how they cloak themselves. We probably have the same abilities, but over time we've lost our way and lost those abilities.
Yeah,
And
I think that there are portals that we could use if we just knew how to unlock them. It's just like time travel and everything else. I believe all that technology is there. I think we just need to open it up and well, once you, I mean, we wouldn't really need cars or vehicles, would you?
not
I mean,
really. Not
if I wanted to be in y'all's part of the woods, I mean, or y'all's part of the neighborhood, you say, hey, come see me tomorrow. All right, well, I'll just go through a portal and be at your place in no time.
wouldn't that be fantastic?
Oh yeah, I think the technology is there. We just don't know how to tap into it. It's just like this cell phone right here. Not everybody knows how to tap into it.
Mm-hmm. They I feel sorry for these creatures in a way because of the way that mankind is encroaching on their natural habitat, and they're cutting down the forests, and they're pushing them. They're pushing them out of areas, pushing them into other areas. And there's a sadness there.
You're right. They're pushing them, and the clans are fighting with each other. And you hit something, and it just came to me, and I'm trying to decipher what it was talking about. I don't know. Go ahead. But anyway, something just came to me, and it left as soon as it was here. But it was about that. It was about clans and all that stuff, and they have showed me some things about that. About how.
Was it maybe that they are competing against each other for areas? Because I've told David that, in the big thicket area of Texas, for instance, doesn't that like kind of border over towards Louisiana in that area, or am I off?
No, that's north. It would be northeast Texas and northwest Louisiana.
What I was telling him was maybe that's where the dogmen and the Bigfoot converge and hunt. There are always reports of grumpy Sasquatch or mean dogmen, or people having bad experiences in that area, like real aggressive ones. And I thought that maybe that's a battleground where they fight or where they compete for food.
I think that there's a dominance thing there that we don't know about. Some people know about it, others don't. I think that there is a male dominance, like an alpha type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a hierarchy to what they have in their thing too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, like, from what I gather from what they told me is, there are males, there are alpha males, and there are young males. And then sometimes the young males get to a certain age and they kick them out anyway because they're too unruly and stuff. They need to find their own way. It is, get their own thing. But I think if they have some young males, they'll put them out as scouts.
Mm-hmm.
When things happen, they'll come alert the clan. But if they're bad, just.
Well, we see that
too, right?
Yes, and we see that in nature.
Bad kid, you're just gonna send him to the road because you can't do nothing with him. I mean, he's a bad kid.
We also see that in nature. Like bucks will travel together, and then they'll split up during the rut. And the young buck, the does will push the young bucks out.
Right.
When they're reach a certain age. Yep.
There's some kind of animalistic to it. I don't want to use that term, but I have to because it's the way we understand it. And I think there's some kind of animalistic things to it.
Yeah, I think so. And, that isn't bad for you to say it that way because, in a nutshell, and we're like that also. We have animalistic tendencies and ways about us as well,
Right.
Being aggressive and everything.
Well, that's why I was going. I'm sorry. Now I got it. I just got it again. The thing of it is that their sight to what they look like, they're very frightful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't want to come across like that. But when you see something that big and something that doesn't look like a human, and it's something that they're a lot of times they're not aggressive, but they just look big. They're huge, and it scares us. Their facial features, except for that's the ones that look more apish, not the ones that look more human, because they say the human ones are more like the ancient ones, they call them. But the ape ones look, it's like you see something in the zoo or something like that. It's pretty scary, you think about something like that.
Oh yeah.
But and when you see it in the woods, it's even scarier. Then you have other ones that don't even, I don't know what they are, like a cross between a baboon and a gorilla. And those would definitely scare me, especially if you've seen fangs or something hanging out. Them things are there. I'm getting out of the woods. I'm not going to stay there with them.
What if they're able to mix with the dogman?
I don't know. I haven't heard that. I haven't received anything like that they mix with them. I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I won't go there with that until
Right.
I have a yes. I get a yes. So I haven't asked them that, to be honest with you, but I will. I will ask them that and say, hey, do y'all ever crossbreed? I guess would be a good word to use.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be careful with the words I use too, because I don't want to,
Well, like you was talking about the one that had the baboon like muzzle, for instance.
Right.
It was a dog man, but it looked like a mix between a dog man and a baboon with a baboon
Yes.
muzzle on it. That it almost makes. I've seen a picture one time. It looked like a Sasquatch, but it had a muzzle on it.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know if it's even real or not, but it's like running. It looks like it got caught on a trail cam, and the trail cam looked like it was up in a tree, and
Yes.
it was running by, and it's like it like looks up, and you can see the face perfect on it. It's got a muzzle, but it looks, the body structure and everything looks just exactly like a Bigfoot, except for the muzzle on it.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I've seen some pretty. I got some, like you said, that don't picture with all the faces in it. I got some pictures and stuff like that I don't know what they are. I have no idea. But they're pretty creepy looking. I've got some that are right there by me. I took a picture of just the all the different stuff we were doing on our land, just progression, I guess you'd call it. I started taking progression. When we started off, and I was going to make like a little video of it, of everything that we did and how we progressed from where it was nothing but woods to where we are now. And every time I took pictures, I was like, what in the world is that behind there? What is this? What is that? And some of them are really creepy looking. I mean, creepy looking. I've seen stuff that looks like lizards, like big old lizards.
Do you know about the reptilians?
Oh, yeah.
Reptilian aliens.
Yeah.
In the Bible, for instance, I don't want to get religious, but they talk about Satan being a snake. Well, that's a reptile.
Yeah.
And I've heard people talk about being abducted and seeing reptilian symbols on their like outfits that those like aliens wear.
So I don't know if I want to go there with you or not on this one, because I have my own beliefs on that. But I mean,
fallen angels.
Well, yeah.
Hey, it's okay, man.
Everything is language, right? It's Larsian or language or whatever you want to identify something as.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, this is me. Ain't nobody else. Okay, this is me talking. I personally believe that the thing, I'm gonna call it a thing, not Satan or a thing, whatever it is, the thing that tempted Eve was a reptilian.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that.
I think that, over the course of time, all right, well, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, down here in Louisiana, we call what you might call a soda pop, we'd call it a Coke. You go to Texas, they may call it something else. You go to where you live up there in the north, they may call it a soda water or a pop, right?
Right.
So, things change over time of what you call something, right?
Absolutely.
And then, the Bible says they cause this thing to crawl in its belly forever. So it could be a race of reptilians that this happened to.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it a snake? I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of supernatural things that happen during those times in the Bible and everything that it's doing a really, really deep study in the Bible right now. And my eyes have been opened as a Christian. I can tell you that.
They have, I'm
actually doing a cryptid study in the Bible right now.
That is amazing, man. Because we just talked to somebody the other day that said that's one of the reasons why they didn't like to go to church, because they wouldn't cover things like that in church. And he just studied the Bible himself and searching for those things, like the book of Ezekiel, and Enoch,
spinning wheels.
Yes.
Yeah, the spinning wheels. The book of Enoch is
book of Enoch.
Book of Enoch. Most people can't handle it.
No.
So, but it all happened. It happened. And see, they took that part out.
They say he even describes in detail flying over the Antarctica.
Yes, that's true.
Mountain ranges.
I mean, the Book of Enoch you can get it online for nothing. You can go in there and read it yourself. You can get your computer and open up and look at it. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, people don't have no excuse not to read all this stuff. And there it is. If it's too much for you, read a little bit, get away from it, come back, decipher it, digest it, and then come back and read it again. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible even talks about Enoch, Enoch or Enoch, however you want to say his name. What's even more than that, go read about the Jacob and all his sons, and the story of Joseph that goes down to Egypt and come back. I'm telling you, man, there's some deep stuff there.
Yes,
really deep stuff. And like I said, I'm doing a really deep study in the Bible right now. And in some of the other books, like the lost books of the Bible, I'm reading that right now. And I've already read the Book of Enoch, and I had to sit it down quite a few times, and I had to come back and read it again. I'm like, wait a minute. Ooh, this is deep. This is really deep.
Have you ever heard of a lady by the name of Karen Hudis? She used to be like vice president of the World Bank. Like, she was way up there. And she did an interview with a guy by the name of Gary Frenchie on Next News Network. But anyway, what she's told him was that there is a second race of humans on this planet that's called Homo capensis, and that these Homo capensis, that they know that Moses was Akhenaten, the Egyptian pharaoh. You've heard of Akhenaten?
Yes.
And that he was a Homo capensis. And she said that the Homo capensis are the ones that run the financial system in the background and control everything, because that's how their brains work, and that's how their minds work. They're very, I don't know if analytical or literal or something. So there was a term that she used, but she said they have elongated skulls. And she said that the meters that the Catholics wear, the real high, tall hats that they wear, she said that was to hide the elongated skulls at one time.
Wow. Yep.
So,
there's a lot going on right now that we have no idea that goes on.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that if you go back and look through history, and history doesn't lie. I mean, it doesn't. You got to go back and look at all that stuff. And people who are Christians, you need to get your Bible out and read it, but you need to go read some other books that they took out of the Bible that are there. There's a lot of stuff in there that's going to explain a lot of stuff that happened. Because, I mean, I went to Bible study all my life, and I went to, and it's like there's always something there that just didn't line up. And I'm like, wait a minute, where's the rest of the story at? Can
you mention any books that's missing out of the Bible that we might be able to look up?
Book of Enoch, Book of Jasher is another one. Book of the Giants, that's another one that's in there. I mean, they got a thing it's on Amazon. You can go buy the book that's on there. It's a lot of the books that were left out. So in the 4th century, the Canaan, they went through and they started, removing stuff out of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And they took it all out. A lot of stuff these books were brought through. And then some of the people in Egypt have some of the original scripts too that's there. And so there's a lot of stuff there also.
I've heard that the Library of Alexandria, when they say that the Library of Alexandria burnt down, that actually it was a false flag, and they burnt the tax papers and the census papers. But all of the mystery school teachings and all of the good, the books that was in the library is now under the Vatican and in the Vatican Library. And those are books, and they're hiding those books from the public, and we don't get to see those books. And there are books of the Bible that they have that we will not get to see. What are they hiding? What are they hiding from us? Is it that we have abilities that we can tap into that they don't want us to be a part of? I don't know, but it's a mystery.
Well, it's like when Solomon prayed and got all of his wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So God had given him a ring, and when he got the ring, he pretty much talked to the demons, and once he did that, he was able to build the temple. And a lot of the people that built the temple, that can't say they were people, they were actually demons that built it.
Have you ever heard the term demon actually means wise ones or something like that? Have you ever heard that?
In some of these books that I'm reading now, it talks about in detail what these things look like, and these demons, what they actually look like, and everything. And no, I haven't. To answer your question, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Oh,
But,
that's okay.
yeah. But they talk about in these books what these demons look like, and some of them were male, some of them were female, and they were actually very skilled, extremely skilled in what they could do, and so they made all kind of garments that were inside there. They made all kind of stuff that, as far as the stones and everything, were put there. Humans didn't do all that. That was something else that put all that stuff there. And so Solomon controlled all that stuff with a ring.
He controlled the demons with a ring, right? And he
Yes.
built the temple with the
Yes.
demons. He controlled them to build the temple.
Yes. Yes. And so that's how that came about, So I mean, it's a lot of stuff in there that's being left out that we're not being told. And so you have to, I believe in the Bible. I'm 100% Christian. I'm a born again Christian. At the same time, I'm open minded, especially now after I had my sighting and all this stuff that's going on now. There's a lot more out there than just going to church.
Yes. Didn't Solomon, didn't he betray God by sacrificing a locust or something like that? Is that?
Well, his downfall was women. So, that was his downfall.
Wow.
Yeah. So he had all the wisdom in the world, had all the power in the world, had everything, but yep, his downfall was women. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So he had a weak spot, and that was his weak spot.
Yes, sir.
So, it happened. So, and that's what happened.
Well, Scott, we're 3 hours into this, buddy.
Wow.
I'm sure it's getting late on you here. Would you like to come back on our show sometime? We'd really love to have you, man.
I'd love to have y'all, and by then I'll have read some more books and probably communicate a lot more with these things. And if there's anybody out there who wants me to ask any questions, like my question is, do they crossbreed and stuff like that? And I will ask that question to them and try to mind speak and see what I get. When I do, it's very deep. Like I said, they somehow or another brought me onto a ship, let me control the ship, let me fly the spaceship, and I was still here at my house, but in my mind, they went and I did all that. So if there's some other questions you want to ask, just put it down in the comments. I'll read them and see what I can come up with. But yeah, I would love to come back.
We appreciate it. And thanks for coming forward and sharing this knowledge with everybody, because there's people out there that like to ridicule others, and it just keeps everybody in a narrow focus. They try to keep everybody in a narrow focus. I like to stay open-minded. David stays open-minded as well.
Yeah.
And the people that we have in our chat their chat room here, they're like-minded individuals. And like I said, we're trying to get the truth out, and we're trying to get people to come forward that would not normally come forward, because we don't want to judge. We're not judging anybody. We've been there. We've seen these things. We know that they're a reality, and they can't hold a bunch of us back. They might be able to take out one or two of us mean to us, but
I can tell you this, Lee, is that when I first started doing all this, doing shows and stuff like that, going on YouTube, and I've done about 4 or 5 of them. Man, I'm probably about 5 or 6 now. And I started doing a lot of podcasts and stuff, and I was really scared at first, but after a while, you know what you know, that you can't hide the truth, and the truth is out there. And the more that you're able to share, because you want people who that's been ridiculed and that's been made fun of and all that. You want them to know that it's okay, it's safe.
Yes.
And they can come forward and tell their story. It's like I went and had lunch with those 2 guys. They didn't have to tell me all that, but they did. They came forward, and we all laughed and joked about it, about the mind speak and everything else, because it's really some cool things that have happened. And once you open up your mind and you see what's going on, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Some people call it, witchcraft or something like that. This ain't no witchcraft. This is a supernatural, spiritual thing that happens.
This is another reality and another part of being alive. And
100%.
It's another part of the human experience of us coming here on Earth. And this may be an integral part of something that we need to learn to spiritually advance. I believe that.
Yes, I think so too. I think that my outlook on as far as the universe and all that, I think that we're one of the ones that's really held back, and I think that there's a lot more going on out there that we know, and I think that once it starts coming to Earth and we start experiencing all these things, we're really going to be shocked. Some of us are going to be far advanced than others.
Absolutely. And look, and didn't it say in the Bible, Jesus said that what he could do that some of us would be able to do, or you would have the ability to do it?
Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah,
Something, I don't know the.
He said, what I done, you'll be able to do more.
Isn't that telling? That is really.
Well, it goes back to this. It said, if you have faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain.
Yes, sir.
So here's the thing is, and I have a lot of faith. I really do. I have a lot of faith. I believe. And I have a lot of faith. And I'm pushing my faith every day. I start off my day in praise and worship. And after that, I go do my day. And let me tell you something. It's very enlightening.
I work in healthcare, and every morning when I travel to work, I'm saying my prayers, and then I say prayers even when I get to work, and before I hit the floor and go out. I say my prayers for the people that are sick and for the my coworkers, and I do that every day. I do it without fail. But, but I tell you what,
it goes a lot better for you. And then start playing some Christian music, listen to praise and worship and stuff like that, and put some positive things in your mind. If you go listen to the music that's out today, oh my Lord.
That
is not good music, bro.
I shut the TV off a long time ago. I don't even watch regular TV anymore.
We don't have that in our house either.
Yeah.
We have a smart TV. And it's pretty much a big computer is all it is. So, but yeah, I mean, I start off my day every day listening to praise and worship. I give God the glory. Everything goes through Jesus Christ, and then after that, I'm open. I'm gonna say, here, teach me. I'm an open book. I'm an open vessel. Fill my pages, fill my jar, and let's go. I'm gonna learn something else.
And how wonderful it is to be a student of this life and all the mystery that's here. It's amazing, man. It's a really amazing journey. And my friend Bud used to say it best. He used to say, life is a garden. You just got to dig it.
That's right. And all things are possible. Even Jesus said anything's possible. So, I mean, if anything's possible, and he said that, what's your limit?
Absolutely.
My question to you in the audience today is, what is your limit? Are you limiting yourself?
Yeah.
And the thing of it is be an open book. Go out there and learn. If you go out in the woods, always bring a camera. You start taking pictures. Just take pictures of the woods. If you feel something, as soon as you feel something, start taking pictures. Take pictures. And then go back home and start looking for faces in those pictures. And you're going to be amazed at how close they were to you.
And, and if these people out here that have had some experiences that are holding back, telling their experience because they're afraid of ridicule and, being made fun of or whatever, find a group like this or shows like this where you can come and tell your story, because it's therapeutic to be able to talk to somebody that has had that experience, because the more that we're doing this show, the more people we're finding that we are connecting with, and we have the same exact experiences.
Yep.
And I tell you,
and even get a friendship out of it,
that's right.
And
guys, y'all can,
God only knows what else.
Yep.
Yes.
Y'all want to talk about it? Just call me up. I'm telling you, my messenger is got a lot of people like that right now. They don't want to come forward, but they'll share I've shared my stories with them. I shared my pictures with them, and I'm just astonished at their stories. At mine, I didn't even cover none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cover anything about a messenger. Nothing whatsoever. That just goes to show you how many people will come after I opened up and I told them my story and I told them what's going on in my life. Then they're like, wow, oh, guess what's going on in my house? Guess what this is happening? They come and slap the side of my house and all that. They're looking in my window. I'm like,
whoa. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm good.
We went to a Crypticon down in Kentucky where they was having a Bigfoot conference, and we drove like 4 or 5 hours to get there. I forget how long it took us to get there, but they had a room where they set up what was called a town hall meeting, and they set up microphones for people to come up and share their experiences. Well, nobody was getting up. Nobody was getting up and going up to the microphone. It was like everybody was scared to get up there and talk. And I remember watching Steve Istall, you know, the How to Hunt guy. And I thought, man, he's really encouraged me, and I'm not going to hold back. And I haven't drove 4 or 5 hours to sit here and not hear somebody else's story. So I got up, and I was the first one up, and I started speaking, telling my story. And it was just like it opened the door for everybody else. And then here they come, one right after another, and started sharing their stories. But sometimes that's what it takes, is we have to initiate that and make the first step. And I think it's a fantastic journey. I love it. I know these things are real and out there, and I think there's a lot for us to learn. And it's like going to school again, but only learning something you want to learn this time.
Right. I just wish that this is my prayer, that the Bigfoot community would come together. And they would stop fighting with each other about this stuff. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on a different level. Okay. Everybody's a different level. Everybody that's here is at a different level right now. And then the only way you're going to be able to come up to another level and get to the point where you're communicating with them is you got to open up your mind. But the main thing is stop fighting. If you're fighting with people and you go out there in the woods and you try to communicate with them, they're going to run from you. They're not going to talk to you.
That's right.
They know your intentions before you even come out there.
The problem is some people are already set in their ways, and they already think they know it all, and there's nothing else to learn, and that right there is a problem.
Well, they're probably not going to have an experience. I can tell you that, because right. I've been a part of some other things that I had to get. I just backed off from it because
you could see
it's all about flesh and. Well, it's all about flesh and blood. It's flesh and blood. It's flesh and blood. You know, there's nothing else.
Right.
I can prove you wrong. I got pictures. I got evidence. I've got videos. I mean, what do you want? If I put all this out there and you still don't believe it, I can't help you anymore. So it's best that I don't surround myself with those type of people, and I get away from them. So that's what I did. I had
to do the same thing, brother.
Well, that's the way it is. You know, I mean, it's people with bad habits. Okay, so let's just say it's people with bad habits. All right, that's what I'm getting right now. Those people with bad habits, you can just get away from them, because bad habits corrupt good morals.
Wow, well said.
Very well.
Thank you.
Very well said.
Well, I'm just getting that. That's what I was told to say. So that's why I said it. So I mean, bad habits corrupt good morals. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing: is you bad mouthing somebody else. Well, that ain't real, and that's all pareidolia, and it's all these things. Well, don't say all that. That's not nice to say that. Don't talk about my picture like that, because you don't know what I've seen. I don't know what you've seen. You know, be nice to people about this stuff, because I want to tell you something. When I first started into this thing, I couldn't see what I see now. I had people. Man, look, I reached out to about 3 or 4 people, maybe more than that. I actually reached out to about 6 or 8 people, and only 2 of them really came back, or 3 or 4 of them come back and started talking to me. Those are my really, really close friends, okay? And one lady was on here tonight. Okay, so one lady's on the East Coast and another lady's on the West Coast. And they come out to me first and they started explaining things to me, started talking to me, okay? Then a couple of guys came forward, and I started reaching out to them. I had other people in Facebook groups that came. I haven't even had 2 people come to my house and I cooked for them, okay? Well, one of them had jambalaya and the other one had gumbo. And they came to my house. And I was searching, but I don't care. Ain't got a lot of money, but I was willing to cook for them and give them some Cajun food. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give them some Cajun food and feed them. And you know, it's one thing to go and it's one thing to lay money down. It's another thing to get somebody a plate of food. And I promise you this: you feed them, they gonna talk.
Yes, sir.
And they educated me real quick. And I was like, wow, wow. And that's how you make friends. You know, if I come up to you and tell you stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. But if I come up to you with a plate of food and say, hey, man, come sit down on the porch with me, let's talk. What you going to do?
How wonderful is that?
Open up and be, cordial.
And that's what I did. I invited them to my house. I said, come on down here, man. Come on, hang out with me, both of them had to drive. One guy drove about 4 hours. The other guy drove about 3 hours. And they came to see me. I said, look, I'm going to make it worth you out. Come on, I'm going to send you food home. Not only did I cook jambalaya and gumbo, I sent them home with, but the potato salad and jambalaya and gumbo.
I'm coming to your house, man.
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
Party at Scott's.
Yeah, y'all come to my house. We're We're gonna make a big old jambalaya out there. How about that?
Oh man, that'd be delicious.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
My mouth's watering.
oh yeah.
Yes. Well, that's a good time, man. I tell you what, to share stories like that, and I'm telling you, man, that's the way it should be. That's the way we should be. We should be come together as brothers and sisters, and let's make this thing work. You know, let's reach out to each other and be nice to each other.
And
Because
no judgment on each other. And
don't judge each other. Because look, we're all at different levels. I can promise you this: we're all at different levels. Okay. When I first got here, I was about to go. I didn't know what to do, y'all. I'd quit going to church. I was like, this ain't God. This is the devil. This is all kind of stuff. This is crazy. I was to the point where I almost had to go to a psychiatrist, and I reached out to people, and that's what saved me. If I was rich, I tell you what, those first two people that I would bless them. I'd buy them a new house. If I had the money, I'd buy them a brand new house right now. I'd go to the house and just buy them and say, pick a house, go buy it. I would. If I was a millionaire, I'd walk up there and say, look, money's not an option. Go pick you a house where you want to live at, and let's go buy it. Pick you out a car. Let's go. Let's go to the dealership. I'll get you a brand new car right now, because they blessed me so much. They got me over my fear. All my fear left. I was ready to go. I was ready. Okay, I want to explore this thing now, and what else is out there?
I want to mention something to you here, Scott. We have a person in the chat. His name is Antonio Shilachi, and he's from over in the UK, over in England. And
right.
He's going through a lot of stuff right now. And I'm not going to share his story or tell, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got a lot of proof that it's happening to him. And he needs somebody to talk to and to fellowship with about this. And we are blessed to have him come and he's in our chat room right now. And he is just awesome. He is just an awesome person. And
tell him Messenger. That's the way I operate, through Messenger.
Yes.
And I'll be glad to talk to him. And once we go through Messenger, and if we can chat, we'll chat. And I can help him through a lot of that stuff. And some things it's going to be, you got to grow at your own pace, right?
Yes.
You got to grow at your own pace. And another thing is that when you do grow, it's not what you believe, it's what you're willing to accept. You're going to be a lot of things. You're going to have to just swallow it and chew it up and swallow it.
Absolutely.
I like how you said that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Y'all are very encouraging. And what you do is you get it, you chew on it. It's like bubble gum. You got to chew it till all the flavor gets out. Once the flavor gets out, then okay, all right, I'm ready for another piece of bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's awesome. Yes, sir.
It's like chewing a steak that's not quite that. It may be that choice or that select. It's still good steak, right? We're gonna chew that steak up. That's a Texas thing. Get you a good steak, and then what you're gonna put on a barbecue pit, and you're gonna cut you a piece, and you're gonna chew on it for a while. It's like, oh man, that's good. That's good. And then what you do is you digest it, right? After that, you digest it. You got it. Once you got it, it's like this. Somebody told me once, whatever you got in your toolbox, nobody can take it out of your toolbox because it's in there. You've learned it. You got it. I had a man explain the toolbox analogy to me one time, and he said this. He said, everybody has a toolbox. All men have a toolbox. All women have a toolbox. Once you've learned that skill set of you learn something that you know is the truth, nobody can go in your toolbox and take that out.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Excellent analogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can promise you there's things that I could share with people that nobody can take that away from me. It happened. It's there. And you know what? Guess what? It's my toolbox and it's mine. And if I want to open up and share my toolbox and my tools with y'all, guess what, man? It's incredible. We can get some things fixed in this community.
Absolutely. Yes. And for people to sit there and say, oh, well, that didn't happen, that ain't real, this and that. I don't really need them to tell me that these things don't exist or do exist, because I know they exist. Yeah. I was face to face. I've been face to face with it, and it's a reality.
We don't have to convince others. We I do this for myself and to help people. If someone wants to call my pictures pareidolia or a squirrel or a treat, that's fine. I'm through proving to other people, because I know myself that there's something going on,
Oh yeah.
We have went way beyond believer to knower. We're knowers.
Exactly.
Thank y'all so much. Oh yeah. I tell you what, a non-believer that wants to talk smack and all that, tell them to come in the woods. And I said, I told a guy one time, I said, you come in the woods with me.
Oh, they won't. They won't.
And I said, I tell you what, I'm gonna bring you in the woods. You bring your tent, and I'm gonna put you right where you need to be at. If you want to have an experience.
Mhm.
And I said, I'll probably about a quarter mile away. If you can run that fast, you come back in the house where we're sleeping. Knock on the front door. And I said, I promise you, when it gets dark, from the time it gets dark to daybreak, at about 8 o'clock, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. And you know,
that I promise you.
And you know, we can't even feel bad about those type of people. It's just the way they've been raised and trained. It's their
funny.
training. Yeah.
Well, I just wonder, guys, if it's like this. I just wonder myself is if they've had an experience and they're scared to talk about it.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely.
Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah.
I'm being serious about that too. As some people are so scared. It's a last lie. No, don't even talk about it. Don't talk about it. No. It's a lie. You know it is the truth, and you know it is the truth because you've seen it. You just don't want to talk about it.
You know, I've got an uncle that doesn't believe in Bigfoot, doesn't believe in UFOs. Well, you guess what happened last spring? Him and my mom was driving from the place where they like to go fishing, and my mom and him look at the same exact time up in the air, and there's a UFO hovering, and it turns like it notices them when they notice it. And it turns towards them. The nose of it drops down, and then it just disappeared, like either shot in a portal or shot away. And he even tried to say it was a bird after they saw it. And then he said, I don't know what that is. And he said, I want to go get another look at that. And so he was driving down the road trying to go find the thing, trying to follow it because it was so intriguing to him. But he got his encounter, you know. And
how you say that? Be careful what you ask for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I think it's like this too, guys. The things that we fear the most, guess what happens? You're going to come face to face with it.
Yeah, they show up.
Well, I'll share something with you. I when I was going to school for taking my training, I was working in surgery. I work in surgery. And I was scared to death, man, that I was going to see somebody laid open with their bowel and their guts hanging out, right? And so I heard somebody say one time, we are scared of the things that we don't understand. We don't have an understanding or knowledge of. But if you educate yourself to what you're looking at and what you're seeing, then you don't have to fear it anymore because you have an understanding of it. And so after that happened to me, I trained myself to, when I was looking in the books, I started training myself what I'm looking at and how to deal with it and how to handle it. And I think that helped me in the long run with my experiences.
That's wonderful. That's a good way. It's like, okay, when you look at these forest people, okay, they're very frightening. Get used to looking at more and more and more pictures, okay, to where the point to where you are getting used to what they look like, because not all of them look like humans. Some of them look like other things. And so once you get to look at these pictures and they don't scare you anymore, well, guess what? Now you're ready to face what's there.
Yes. And that's why
there's a lot of things in the woods that I see, y'all. I mean, right on my property right there, I could send you picture after picture after picture that I'm sending you, and they're there. Some of them are silhouetted. Some of them are there. I mean, they're just there in plain sight. You know, I've got one I got today that one of my cousins took a picture, okay? And I've got one that's standing there with his arm wrapped around a tree. It's right there.
Isn't that amazing? They're
just sitting there watching, you know?
That is fantastic.
And then all the different faces and all that, like you said, you look at all the blood and guts and everything. First time you see it, you might get sick, you might get scared, you know. Here's another thing is being zapped. I've been zapped twice. Both times I got sick, I threw up.
Did you
they zap? Now this time, third time they zapped me, it didn't bother me. It messed up my phone, but it didn't bother me at all.
Did you get nauseated? Like you said,
I threw up twice.
Yeah, I got zapped down in a ravine one time, and I felt like I wanted to throw up. And
I did.
I was almost getting disoriented. Like I was going to have trouble getting out of there. And I thought, I'm going to pull myself together and I'm going to walk out of here like nothing's going on. And it was all I could do to get back to the car. And I did it, but I didn't want to. I don't know if it was just that I just didn't want to give them the satisfaction of thinking that they really zapped me or whatever. But I got out of it. Yeah.
You got too close to them, and another thing is they didn't know your intention. They didn't like your intention, because that's what happens when you get too close. They're going to do something to back you off. It's kind of like, have you ever seen these dogs, how you train them and you got a little button, or they have an invisible fence and they run to that fence and you hear them, and they come back. Same thing.
You know, when I had that experience, just before that, when I was walking in the woods, it was like, you know how they talk about the silence is deafening, like, you know, like everything gets real quiet, right? Like it was real quiet. Like there wasn't nothing making a sound. And then there was this one bird, and it followed me through the woods whistling. And then when I got down into this, it was a little valley is what it was. And there was rock outcroppings, and I saw a hole back up in this thing. And I thought, man, there could be a Bigfoot up in there watching me, and I'd never even know it. And man, as soon as I thought that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. My stomach, and it about knocked me down. But I pulled it together and got out of there.
The first time it hit me, I was on our property in North Louisiana, and I got really sick. And it wasn't cold; it was cool like it is now. You know, it was really, really cool outside. So I'm like, why in the world I have a heat stroke? It's not cold outside. It didn't bother my cousin. It didn't bother anybody else that was up there with me, but it got me. And then another time we went on vacation. We was actually in Cades Cove, and we'd gone up in the mountains and all that. We got out to look at a big old creek that was there with a waterfall. And I got in that, by that waterfall, there was a ledge. And I got out and I started smelling some stuff. First thing I smelled was musky smells, like, ugh, stinky, musky smell, and almost like urine, you know. And I smelled that weird smell. And it was like I was like, I started getting zapped in. You know, it's like I was feeling, like you said, disoriented, you know, like it was just, oh God, it feels weird. I'm smelling this weird stuff. It's just, and all of a sudden I said, I don't feel good. I said, we need to get off the mountain. And they were all laughing at me. I thought it was funny. I said, I'm not laughing. I said, this is serious, y'all. I said, something ain't right. And they said, well, you okay? You having a heart attack? I'm not having a heart attack. It's not like that. It's just weird. I got out, next thing you know, I told them to pull over. Man, I got by this river and I just let it all fly. And it was like, and everybody else was fine. Just me. Okay. It zapped me. They all went off and had a great time and everything. And that evening I took a couple of pills or something like Dramamine or something like that. I went and took some stomach pills and all that. And then that evening it was gone away like it was nothing.
Wow.
We all went out and had dinner together, you know.
It sure knocks you for a loop, man, when it hits you.
Oh, yeah.
And it hits you all of a sudden.
That's a supernatural thing. How do you explain something like that? You know, how do you explain how these things do this stuff? I don't know how they do all that, you know.
Yeah, I don't either. I've heard theories of sound, that it's infrasound.
Could be.
Do you know about,
you know, the military has something like that they can keep crowds off with, you know, and they said it has the same effect on them.
Yeah, it's called it's LRAD, I think is the name of it. It's long range acoustic something device. And then they have EMF weapons too, they're microwave weapons. Do you know about those? They're millimeter wave. They go underneath the skin and they affect your nervous system, and it makes you feel like you're burning all over.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something. Ooh. Okay. So you know they can do a lot of different things, right? There's a lot of different things they can do.
They say that's what the 5G towers are. They're active denial systems, and they can use the 5G towers like the EMF weapons. Those are actually a weapons-based platform. The 5G towers, they say.
Wow, that's something.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, guys, thank you. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yes, sir. I know it's getting late there where you're at. It's almost 12:30 where I'm at, but I feel like we've only been talking about 15 minutes. But this is awesome. This is awesome.
I feel like, thank you so much. And I feel like God's talking to me. He asked if you would like to end us in prayer.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I would, guys. Thank you so much. Lord, we thank you for this time we've had together, dear God. And Lord, we just thank you for people who are coming forward right now to learn more about your creation, dear God. You created all this. It's nothing that we've done. Lord, we're just trying to learn this. We're trying to better understand what your creation is, dear God. We pray you protect everybody out there that's doing this, dear Lord, and their approach is a godly approach to this subject and what's going on to the forest people and respect, dear God. We pray that you send them love and you send them respect, dear God, and know that we're not there to harm them. Lord, we thank you for this platform that we have. Bless these two gentlemen right here, dear God. Bless them mightily that they would know that they're doing the right thing, dear God. We praise you, the Lord, in your sons, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all, guys.
Hey,
You have a
good night.
blessed night.
You too. Good night, and thank you for blessing us, man, for coming on.
That was awesome. Thank you, Scott. I'll be keeping in touch, brother.
Both of y'all keep in touch with me, okay?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all-
We're gonna have some gumbo one of these days, man.
And jambalaya.
Jambalaya, yeah. Awesome.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Good night.
Make a plan.
Good
All
night,
right, guys.
everybody. Yes,
I'll
sir.
talk later. Thank
Bye-bye.
Good
y'all.
night, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for showing up.
Yeah, thank you, David, for a wonderful show, man. Adios, everybody. Thank you, Antonio, for coming and showing out, man. We love you, brother.
We love you, brother.